or 5 guys who really are contenders. But at no point is anyone going to be safe. I don't care if a rider has a 100-point lead. They are always one huge mistake away from throwing it away in that class, and that's what makes it so fun to watch.
The gate will drop on the 40.
Begins a 12-round marathon for the AMA National Championship. It is a title so prestigious that the world's finest riders have come to the United States to chase its glory. In the 250 class, KTM's Frenchman Marvin Musquin will look to back up his own world championship with an AMA crown to call his own. Yamaha's Christophe Pourcel steps up to the premier 450 class after an American National Championship eluded him in the 250s. And Honda's Chad Reed is back to win the championship he last claimed in 2009. But standing in their way are talented riders who call the states home. 250 continues. New York's Justin Marshall, North Carolina's Brock Tickett, and Colorado's Eli Tomac. 450 stalwarts, Ryan Villopoto of Washington, 2010 champion Ryan Dungey from Minnesota, and Texas rider Andrew Short. These are the world's fastest motocross stars. The gate drops on the 2011 season, right now, live on Fuel. Just outside of Sacramento, California for the opening round of the 2011 Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. It's the Rockstar Energy Drink Hangtown Classic. Hello everyone and welcome to Hangtown as we celebrate this 40th season of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Jason Wigan, of course, joined by 4-time AMA National Champion Jeff Emig. Lots of storylines to follow as we kick off this 2011 tour. We look at the big picture. Ryan Villopoto coming in here with momentum from the Supercross Championship he won just 2 weeks ago. Of course, Ryan Dungey, the defending champion of this tour. He's not going to give it up without a fight. And let's not forget the wild card, Christophe Pourcel, who missed the Supercross series, will make his debut on a 450 bike today here in Northern California. So Jeff, with all those storylines and more, there's going to be some great racing here in Hangtown, and of course, through the next 11 rounds of this series.
Well, and this championship is stacked with talent. I mean, you've got champion after champion, whether it was in a 250 class or in a 450, that are battling for this. And here we are. There's fantastic weather. It's going to be nice here today, but as we get on into the summer months, the heat's going to really play a part. Physical conditioning, you know, the mental strength, all of that as you go through what is arguably the most grueling motocross championship in the world. So 12 races from now, 24 motos, we're going to see who's champion, but we all started here today, and there's so much excitement and, you know, just anticipation here in the pits and out in the crowd.
Well, really excited to bring it to you live every week. Our first motos will come to you on Fuel TV. It's going to be a great season. For more, let's go down to the third member of our broadcast team, Aaron Bates.
We're getting ready to kick off the great outdoors, and Kevin Windham, you're getting your gate pick all situated, third overall in practice, but take us through, you didn't really get any testing time since your accident in Las Vegas.
Yeah, we had planned to go straight out to California after Vegas, and with the crash, left me questionable for any of these rounds. Obviously filling in on the factory Honda, and Geico Honda allowed me to come over and do that deal, so it's been a nice deal for me to come back, but the injury really put us behind. Didn't get any testing. Actually used press day here Thursday for the first time to ride the bike, and things are well though. We won a race on it last year, and it's better than it was then, so hopefully we'll be in the hunt in this thing.
Best of luck to you on your first race out of the gate. And Davi Millsaps comes in the number 18. Davey, things went kind of drastically wrong for you last season. At the end of the season, you recovered from your injury. You're back, you're lined up. What's your thoughts the first gate?
You know, I crashed out the 5th race or whatever it was, and you know, it's behind me, so I'm looking forward to this race. It's practice started off good, and just looking forward to it.
Good luck to you today. And another return injured rider is Brett Metcalfe. Brett, you're making your way here. You're getting your gate all lined up and ready to go. Talk to us about the return to racing and how you're feeling lining up today.
Oh, I'm excited. You know, it's been a couple months, 3 to be exact, since our race, so I'm excited to be out here for the Nationals and just get it going for the Rockstar Makita Suzuki team. Have a good race here and a long season, so hopefully we'll be up there.
Well, guys, these guys are anxious and getting ready for this gate to drop. We'll pass it up to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Aaron.
Huge crowd has gathered here. They've been here like this 5, 6 a.m. They were jamming through the gates of this place for the 43rd running of this Hangtown Classic, a race that actually predates this tour, which has been around now. Who doesn't like celebrities, comedy, and music? The Daily Habit is your destination for the hottest stars, comics, and cutting-edge musical acts on TV. Watch it weeknights, 11 p.m. Eastern, only on Fuel TV. Excited to be back here for this Hangtown Classic. Rockstar Energy Drink presenting the race, of course, part of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Jason Wygant and Jeff Emig up here in the booth with Aaron Bates down on the starting line. Great to have live TV here on Fuel. And for those of you that are just new to motocross, we'll give you the 411 here and show you exactly how these races work. For our 450 class here, we'll have 2 motos with 40 riders each. Each race, the duration is 30 minutes and 2 laps. And if the riders have the identical scores in the first and second moto, the tiebreaker is the better finish in the second moto. So you have to be consistent through 2 motos today. Let's give you an idea of the racetrack they will be racing on here at Hangtown. Here's our track map. Jeff, explain what it's like to race here in Northern California.
Well, this is a great track, and it's got these uphills and downhills. You notice the track, it's going to look like it's a little bit sandy in spots, but that's actually rice holes that they mix in, and that's because the soil here is some really hard clay. Coming down this, through these uphills and downhills, there's some fast sections that the riders are saying, look, these bumps are getting huge. They really, because of how the rice holes absorb the bike, it really gets a pretty bad kick there. So overall, it's just going to be extremely challenging, especially this being the opening round of the Motocross Championship.
So many contenders in this 450 class this year. Let's get to know a few of these top riders we had a chance to talk to before this series got underway.
Going into this outdoor season, I do feel like I can step it up. You know, there's going to be some other guys in this field this year that have definitely stepped up. The competition is going to be very strong. But man, I feel like I'm bigger, badder, better a little than last year. So hopefully that can, you know, pull me through a little bit and can be contending for the championship at the end of the season.
I think we're going to work hard, do the best we can, go after this championship, and hopefully it's a good fight, and we can enjoy it all together and hope for the best, and know that we did everything we possibly could.
I'm looking forward to it, to get this going and win some outdoor racing, and you know, in the end, be there fighting for this championship. I mean, what a year would it be to win Supercross championship, win outdoors, and then get married. So, you know, looking forward to it and see if we can pull it off.
I expect to put myself in title contention, as with every year. Try to get faster, try to involve as a rider, try to, you know, learn from the kids, be comfortable. I think if we can achieve a comfort level, then I'll be a threat for this championship.
I'm here in good spirits and for the right reasons, so that potentially makes me a dangerous man. Like I said, as long as my head's in the right place and we're here for the right reason, then I think good things can happen, and you know, I can potentially be a threat.
Just about time to go racing here, Jeff. Give us the keys to the race. We'll pick a rider here at random. Michael Byrne, what's he need to do to go fast today?
Yeah, well, my buddy Michael Byrne here has got a great starting technique, okay? He needs to trust that, believe, have confidence there so he can get off the gate and loosen up a little, okay? Luce is going to be fast here today.
A lot of anticipation for this. The biggest motocross championship in all the world. It's about to get underway live on Fuel. And it's Kevin Windham on the number 14 grabbing the whole shot, and you know the fans are going crazy over that. Christian Craig, new to the 450 division, is right behind him in second. Well, he was. Here comes Brett Metcalfe to the number 2 spot. So it is Metcalfe in second, but Kevin Windham leading them around early at Hangtown, Jeff.
I know, incredible started for Windham. He just really has been on here this last month. He's been dialed in, but I want to know where our reigning champion, Ryan Dungey, who had the best rookie season ever in the history of the sport, comes close in the Supercross Championship, and now he still wears the #1 plate in motocross. And you know that he's got to be fired up to try to win this Motocross Championship once again.
And there is Dungey. He's moved up to third, and he's got Chad Reed right with him. So all the big hitters are up front, and Ryan Villopoto not too far back either, Jeff.
Yeah, look at this track here. They put down quite a bit of water, and they put down the rice holes to actually hold the moisture. But you can see how the track really has got some soft it appears to be soft, but underneath it's got a really hard clay base. And the riders were telling me after practice that there's actually this roost hurts pretty bad. And so that tells you that it's got some hard clay in it, a little bit of rock.
Definite proving ground for these riders right now as Windham leads them. Metcalfe under heavy pressure from the 3 riders who everyone was talking about coming into this. That's Dungey on the 1, Reed on the 22, and not too far behind him is Villopoto on the number 2. But right now, Metcalfe holding them back.
Yeah, what a great start. What a great way to recover after having an injury. Has been off the bike for quite a long time and back on, I believe, for right around 3 weeks maybe, which doesn't seem like a lot. And I guess as the day progresses, we'll see how his fitness is. You know, the guy trains hard. I mean, you've seen the video and stuff of him at his house just lifting and doing all of his core training and everything. So you know he's going to be in shape there. But there's a certain, like a foundation, like a bike shape that I call it, that you have to be in, that you only get from riding. So we'll see if he has had enough time on the bike to withstand the pressure here of some riders that are definitely dialed in.
You can hear the fans going crazy all around this facility, and here's why. The number 14 of Kevin Windham, who you can make a pretty clear argument is maybe the most popular rider in this sport, is leading the way right now. The 33-year-old, originally from Louisiana, has been racing here for a long, long time. A lot of fans at Hangtown. Let's focus in on Dungey. Wait, let's go down to the pits actually with Aaron. Go ahead.
Well, guys, I was just going to add on the Brett Metcalfe. They've been working extremely hard over this past month. As Brett's been trying to race his way back into shape, he's also been getting the bike set up dialed into perfection. Something that they didn't realize with his injury, that he actually fractured that right wrist, and he didn't have any idea it was fractured until right after Daytona when he crashed. That's when they detected how serious the injury actually was. So time off is definitely needed.
Yeah, actually ended up with a broken wrist. He rode with it, hurt it at the Atlanta Supercross, and the next week tried to race, didn't realize why it hurt so bad. Pretty clear.
And going down this downhill here, I talked to the riders. It looked like earlier in practice you could just fly through there. After I talked to them after practice, they said you have to be so careful on the throttle through there.
There is Ryan Villopoto, so he is definitely up front as well. You can see Chad Reed in front of him. And Villopoto has not raced this series in a while. He won the opener in 2009 and then tore up his knee. Didn't race the rest of that series. And in 2010, had broken his leg at Supercross, so we didn't see him much, really, outdoors in the last 2 years.
Yeah, but since Ryan Villopoto has been a professional, if you did the averages on whatever his win percentage is and all that, he's pretty darn good at this thing called motocross. There's no doubt about that. 3 championships in a row on the lights, on the 250, and then wins his only other 450 race. So,
and folks, check out the Yamaha behind Ryan Villopoto. That's the guy we're saying is the wild card. The 377, Christophe Pourcel, the Frenchman. As you watch Villopoto put Reed under some fire right now. But Pourcel on the blue bike, MotoConcepts Yamaha, did not race the Supercross Tour. Was in contention for the 250 championship the last 2 years, lost it in heartbreaking fashion both times. He says he likes the 450 better than the 250, and he wants to prove right now that he can run with Dungey, with Villopoto, with Reed, Windham, Metcalfe, and everyone in front of him, and he's definitely keeping the pace right now.
He's got to be feeling good about what he's doing here so far in this moto, and that speed-wise at least, he's on pace with Dungey and Villopoto.
Dungey now has close back up to the rear tire of his teammate, Metcalfe. Totally different lines out here early on, Jeff. Look at this.
Well, you have to. Look at the roost that he's taking, especially if Metcalfe gets in there on the inside. And if you're kind of locked into a line, oh, yeah, see Dungey right there. He moves his head to left. That's one thing to save the tear-offs, the amount of tear-offs that are on your goggles, but there's also a tremendous amount of roost that gets into your neck, your collarbone area, even, up on your nose if you don't have like a little guard on the bottom of the goggles. And yeah, it hurts. Yeah, it hurt back in my days, a long time ago, when we rode 252 strokes. These are 454 strokes. I'm telling you, this stuff will blow you off the bike.
We did talk to a couple riders after practice today. They were saying roost hurt more this year than last year for some reason.
Yeah, and which is odd because to me the track, oh, look at the line Dungey had. Yeah. He just doubled through there. But then see how he's locked in? He's just getting blasted. But, I mean, you can get hit so hard with a certain amount of dirt that it almost blows you off the bike.
And now Dungey has to drop back, and he's going to try to work his way back toward the rear tire of Metcalfe. But right now it's Windham leading them around, but we are not even 2 laps into this race. And already some carnage out there. We'll show you that in a moment. Whoa, Dungey working hard. I don't know if that was on purpose or not to get from one end of the track to the other. Working the outside line now on Metcalfe. This might pay off. He's going to lead him to the inside, and Dungey has taken over the spot. He's up to second.
Nice pass by Dungey. You can see he's focused. He's really seems to be managing all the bumps and everything well. He seems to be kind of just floating through there, bouncing through, but not really letting it, keep his momentum from flowing. But watch this crash here.
Yeah, that's what happens early in these races, folks. Oh, man, blown off the bike. And that's a part of motocross for folks that are watching us on Fuel TV live for the first time. The good news is these top contenders all got through these first couple of laps clean. What do you think, Jeff? Is this a blitz by anyone, or are they all kind of feeling things out this early in the race and this early in the season?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. I mean, you see Villopoto here now. He's really starting to try to find some lines, and he's been taking roost from Chad Reed since basically the first lap. And if you feel comfortable, you pull the trigger. If not,
he's pulling it. Here we go to the inside, and Villopoto's got the spot just like that. Now we'll see if Reed can respond. Yeah, that was impressive.
You can see he was really working it.
Wait, somebody's down. That might have been Metcalfe. So they might have picked up 2 spots there, Villopoto. Yes, It was Metcalfe. He's up. He's behind Pourcel, so he didn't lose too much ground. But it's hard to get those spots back when you lose them to a guy like this, Villopoto. Wow.
See Villopoto when he landed there, he landed in one of them soft holes, and he knew where he was going to land, and it wasn't going to be good, so he set himself up for it.
Well, Kevin Weimer is leading them here at Hangtown. He's the oldest guy that's going to race this full series, but he might be the fastest, too. Stay with us. Welcome back to Hangtown. Round 1, Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship, the 14. Kevin Weimer leading the way here on Fuel TV, but Ryan Dungey's all over him, and while we were at break, Jeff, a few big mistakes from Wyndham. That's what's allowed Dungey to get right on him.
Well, let's take a look at this as Wyndham was coming up through this roller section. See, it's really wet and slippery, and there's not a lot of hold in there. And see how he cross-ruts, and then track crew there out of the way. Good heads up there for the flagger. And Wyndham just slides in a safe place to enter the track.
So well done for Wyndham to even hold on to the motorcycle and the #1 spot. But Dungey is definitely in pursuit right now, but they pulled away, it looks like, from the rest of the field at the moment.
Yeah, they're turning 215, 214. Villopoto was a 213 last time around, but I tell you, Wyndham 215, Dungey 214 as it came past the start-finish line. But the thing that is interesting about Wyndham is you're not really worried about the veteran being rattled and making some, some rookie mistakes or, doing anything immature. He's going to be solid. I mean, he's been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, so whether or not he can hang with Dungey here as this moto continues, whether physical or speed-wise, I just mentally, Wyndham I'm guaranteed that he's going to ride a solid race,
Yeah, well, to give you an idea, when Wyndham turned pro in 1994, I don't know if Dungey was even old enough to ride a motorcycle. That's the age differential between these two. So Wyndham continuing to lead Dungey with Villopoto, Reed, Pourcel, top 5. Then it's Metcalfe, Millsaps, Short, Hahn, and Michael Byrne in the top 10. Wyndham weathering this storm.
Well, and the other thing that's really impressive about Kevin Wyndham here is that, he had an injury a couple weeks ago, got a chance to ride Thursday and do a little bit of testing and chassis setup with the bike, but that's about it.
Yeah.
And now he is setting the pace here in the opening moto, so pretty impressive.
And, Dungey is still there, not trying to make any moves yet. Now, check this out. Another major contender coming in here, and by the way, fastest in practice, Mike Alessi on the Red Bull KTM. Unfortunately, his championship hopes go up in smoke almost instantly here in the second practice, Jeff.
Yeah, watch, he comes over this tabletop and he hits a kicker, and he tucked his head early. See, he goes to scrub that, and he is really fortunate that he was able to get up, walk off with his own power, but that's a tough hit. There's a lot of inertia, a lot of weight hitting the ground there, and that might be one time where the rice hulls, a little cushion from that might have saved you.
Yeah, and obviously Alessi came in with high expectations outdoors as more of a motocross guy than a supercross guy. Had the fastest lap time in the first practice session today, and now he sees possibly his championship hopes already thrown away. He's going to miss racing today. We don't know about the rest of the series. Let's go back up front. Dungey keeps applying the heat to the 14.
He is, and he's trying to work the inside, the outside. Looks like he might have it here.
Oh, fans come to life as Dungey's got him on the inside. Can Wyndham fire back? No, Ryan Dungey puts the #1 Rockstar Makita Suzuki into the #1 spot. Struggled big time at this track last year. Obviously, they've learned some lessons. Take us through him making this pass on Wyndham for the lead.
Well, the 2 corners before this, he really sets it up by closing the gap, and then as he came onto the start straight, you see him really hook up, drive around the first turn area on the inside. Perfect execution there. Now let's see what he can do with it now that he has a clear track. You can see on the front of his bike, the number plate, everything is dirty. This is when you pull a tear off. This is when you take a deep breath and say, okay, now I've got this spot. I'm going to try to put in the perfect lap so I don't have to worry about taking roost anymore. So I can see.
The crowd out here. They are pumped over that battle for the lead. And now we've got Reed going after Villopoto and Wyndham going back after Dungey. Great racing all over this track in Hangtown. Look at Wyndham. He wants him back.
Wyndham around the outside as it come up through the rollers. Same place he made the mistake. Let's see if he can hug the inside.
Wyndham is feeling racy today. 1 day of testing on the bike or not. Amazing that he almost pulled off a pass in the spot where he almost crashed. And Reed has gotten around Villopoto.
Wow. Awesome action. You can just, I mean, that's the thing about AMA Motocross here is that the crowd being all over the hillsides, and it's just waves of fans when the action's on. You can definitely see that it's in a certain section.
Look at Reed trying to put some distance now between himself and Villopoto as we hit the halfway mark of this 30-minute and 2-lap moto at Hangtown. And, you know, Villopoto in the second practice, he had several seconds on everyone in lap times, but in the race, Reed was able to hang with him the last few laps and then come back.
Well, hey, 1 lap ago, Chad Reed set the fastest lap time at a 2:14. Wyndham and Dungey with 2:16, and you see Pourcel here. He's starting to drop back, Jason.
Yeah.
Last time around, he was at 2:18.
Metcalfe, remember, was behind him after Metcalfe fell, and now he's trying to pass him back. Is there room in this left-hander? No, Pourcel beats him to the inside.
Well, Pourcel on a 450, you can see, it looks like to me that he runs his handlebar positioning really low. Something about the front of the bike kind of looks flat, you know, the overall, you know, height there.
Well, they got a company, by the way. That's Davi Millsaps right behind them. He might be the fastest out of this trio because we didn't see him in this battle a few laps ago. Here is Metcalfe making the same move Dungey did, Jeff.
Same spot, but much easier. Pourcel didn't look like he put up much of a fight there, and you can see him kind of looking over his shoulder. And
yeah, not sure what the situation is for the Frenchman, but watch out. He's going to have company from the 18 of Davi Millsaps coming up next. And Millsaps was on the podium here overall last year. He's very fast at Hangtown. Didn't have the good start, but he's making up for it.
Yeah, and to put it into perspective about how much this track has changed and how rough it's gotten, Mike Alessi set the fastest qualifying time today in the first practice. With a 2:05.1, Pourcel was a 2:07.3. Pourcel's turning a 2:18 now.
Well, as Millsaps tries to go around him on the outside, Jeff, since Pourcel has not raced at all since last September, is arm pump or nerves, is that a possibility?
Millsaps.
Wow, Millsaps just willing himself down that hill to make the pass. Is it possible that Pourcel, could it be arm pumps, could it be something like that? He hasn't raced in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, things could be starting to happen pretty quick for him, and you know, if you're not controlling your breathing and relaxing your hands and your forearms and really taking a rest when you hit the jumps. I mean, if you're just tense and you're really trying, you know, if you think about like holding your breath and doing some sort of athletic movements, eventually you just have this big gasp and your muscles just fill up with blood and lactic acid, and it's not good. So that could be the situation. I mean, Christophe is a rider who rides so fluid all the time. It's hard to say if he really has the quote arm pump or not, but the bottom line is the lap time telling the story, because he was a 2:19. He was a 2:07 in practice.
Wow.
He's just turning a 2:19.
Chad Reed is rolled up now on Kevin Wyndham, and he's bringing Villopoto with him. So all the favorites, I guess sans Alessi, who crashed out of practice, are up front battling in the second half of this moto. You've got Dungey in the lead, Wyndham second, Reed, Villopoto third, fourth. This is going to be a great showdown down the stretch of this one.
Well, and this is classic Chad Reed. He never enters the championship without completely 100% believing that he is going to be in title contention and that he has what it takes. And so riding TwoTwo Motorsports, new machines, everything this year. We'll see if he's there 23 motos from now.
He's definitely making it work for him right now. Check out your top 5 on Field TV. Listen up, action sports fans. It's the world's greatest skateboarding event on the planet, and it's coming to you live from the Big Apple. Watch the Maloof Money Cup from New York City on Saturday, June 4th and Sunday, June 5th, live at 4 Eastern Time, only on Fuel TV. We're live here with Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship Racing season opener from Northern California's Hangtown. Ryan Villopoto making moves while we were at break. Both he and Chad Reed were able to get around Kevin Windham, move up to 2nd and 3rd. That'll drop Windham to 4th.
Well, let's take a look here as Villopoto goes wide on Windham. Windham tries to slam the door, but Villopoto's so quick around that outside line. That's going to give him 3rd right now with roughly 8 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Villopoto turned a 2:16 last lap. Reed was a 2:15, and Dungey out front, now by close to 7 seconds, turned a 2:14.
We're going to show you the gap now as you saw Villopoto Reed go by. There is Windham. Windham trying to hang on to that 4th place position. That would be good points, especially considering the fact that he basically had 2 weeks off the motorcycle after a big crash a few weeks ago to Supercross in Las Vegas. Still a solid run for him. A little bit further back, we're looking for Brett Metcalfe on the right on the yellow machine. And on your left is Davi Millsaps. So they are going at it for top 5. Metcalfe was in 2nd earlier. He went down. Now he's going to get caught and passed by Millsaps. So Millsaps, a little bit of a rejuvenation here. Outdoors, definitely did not have the Supercross tour he wanted, but he looks good today.
Yeah, and you got a sense here that Metcalfe was trying to retaliate there and find a line and square him back up, but Millsaps really has got the momentum going forward. Fitness seems to be good, and he's really flowing on a track that, I mean, it's sketchy. Like, that's really the only way to put it, because it's just impossible to ride perfect laps here. And there's Pourcel coming through, and he's running in 7th.
We'll go to Tommy Hahn, who is actually the teammate of Pourcel. He is 8th. Haven't seen much of Andrew Short yet. Here he is in the number 9 spot. That's the other Red Bull KTM rider. Alessi, as we mentioned at the top of the show, is out, crashed out in practice. So now it's up to Short to represent on that 350 KTM. And Michael Byrne, he gave us the keys to the race for him at the beginning. Is he riding loose?
Well, as we take a look here at the burner here as he's coming through the first turn area. So got a good start, not too bad. Let's see just how loose he can be, because Michael's the type of rider that his speed comes from being comfortable, where there's other riders out there that they have speed. It's just whether or not it's going to be comfortable or how safe they can ride. But yeah, definitely here on this BTOsports.com Suzuki, putting in a fine ride to be inside the top 10, and lap times around a 2:21. And I'm telling you, for a lot of guys, their qualifying time is a thing of the past, because here already in the first moto, this track has really just gone away. And watch as you come down this straightaway here, trying to triple over this thing, and then you get into these rollers, and you kind of have to time your way through there and zigzag your way through where the big, deep, soft holes are, because if you don't, as we've seen already today, like Windham coming up through this section, is it can really get you cross-rutted and possibly put you off the track or down on the ground.
We're just getting started on what's a very long day of racing here in Hangtown. These fans got a lot to watch. We'll have our first moto of the 250 class coming up right after this. It's part of our 2-hour live block on Fuel TV. Chad Reed coming through, still holding Ryan Villopoto at bay, with Ryan Dungey the number 1 spot. Very impressive retaliation from Reed on Villopoto. What do you got, Jeff?
Yeah, but still Ryan Dungey last lap a 2:14.8, Reed a 2:15.8, and Villopoto had dropped off a little bit at a 2:17. So Dungey just dominating Moto 1 here, just looks completely comfortable and happy with his bike setup.
Aaron, what have you got down on the track?
Well, guys, Ryan Villopoto informed me right before the gate started that he was sick ever since Vegas, so he's got limited amount of time riding and testing for this outdoors. He's coming in, he said he feels a lot better, but he definitely didn't get any time on the bike before coming into today.
Yeah, I talked to him after the Vegas Supercross, and he was already starting to come down with something, and then there's a lot of obligations, a lot of pressure I'm sure that he was under, so the schedule's messed up enough, even if you're healthy, Remember, Dungey came out here and kind of underwhelmed at Hangtown last year when he was coming off the Supercross title.
He just won the Supercross title. I'm sure there's no press obligations or autograph sessions or interviews or phone. Yeah. Well, I mean, but hey, that's part of it. With to the victor goes the spoils, and at times that's part of your job. Part of your job is to go win races. The other part is to help people like Kawasaki sell motorcycles. The best thing, obviously, to do is to go win the races and prove that you're on the best machine out there.
Yeah, so really Villopoto reached the top of the mountain, I guess one of two mountains, when he won this championship in Vegas. And that was a knockdown, drag-out battle with he and Reedy finished up a third in the race. And amazing with how stacked the competition was this year. Also had James Stewart in that pack also to win the title against all those riders who were healthy all year. An amazing accomplishment.
Yeah, and there's a bit of you know, a period there where you kind of exhale and you absorb that. But now we are in moto number 1 of the AMA Motocross Championship. So now it's time to go out and do it all over again. Okay, and like I said earlier, I think that Ryan Villopoto is one of the best motocross riders I've ever seen. His record speaks for itself. Staying healthy is going to be an issue here on the 450 and being able to withstand this whole championship, but I definitely think that he's up to the task.
Yes, 2006, 2007, 2008, he dominated the 250 class. Hasn't really had a chance to show it on the 450 yet. And so far today, last year's 450 champion, Ryan Dungey, has got this thing dialed in as we are hitting the stretch run here at Hangtown. Stay with us, see if Ryan Dungey can win this one.
Relive
On our hands here live on Fuel TV. Two teammates on MotoConcepts Yamaha 377 is Christophe Pourcel in his first race of the year. Tommy Honda, the number 12, did race during that Supercross tour, and they're meeting in about the same exact spot at the battle for 7th and 8th, Jeff.
Well, and these are two teammates here. I'm telling you, for Pourcel, it really looks like to me that he's riding the wide lines. He's trying to find a smooth line where there's no bumps, and that tells you that he is just not comfortable, you know, with what he's doing right now. I'm telling you, Han is not afraid to take the deep line, the rough line, and it won't be long here before he should be able to make a move on his new teammate.
Yeah, you can see at the top of the screen there are 3 laps to go, so plenty of time for Han to try to get around and move up into that number 7 spot. Behind Pourcel and Han, you've got Andrew Short 9th and Byrne holding on to the number 10 spot. Here goes Han. You got to try to work it around the outside.
See if it works here. Pourcel dragging his foot a little bit. Technique's kind of going away. Look, he doesn't do the double up here, trying to ride the inside.
But Han was hung out to dry. Didn't have a way to get him, so he's going to try again. Downhill.
Look at the roost, though, that these riders are taking on right now. I mean, there's...
And
it was brutal.
Han continues to take it, still can't figure out a way around Pourcel. And we always used to call Pourcel the crafty Frenchman, and lo and behold, as soon as the challenge came from Han, look what's happened. He's pulled something out, and he's actually pulled out a bit of a gap.
Well, he's going to have to do something special, too, because not too long, Andrew Short's going to be breathing down his neck also. Andrew Short just off of the back of Han there with about 2.5 laps to go. Jumping a quad here around the outside. See Tommy going 3-1. Short 3-1 through there, trying to get back to the inside and take the shorter line. And Pourcel just railing the outside.
Ryan Dungey continues to lead here at Hangtown, and you called it, Jeff. You knew Andrew Short would roll up on these Yamaha riders, and he's done it. He's challenging Tommy Han now.
But look at how they have to pick their lines, and you go through there. And as I look at the track, I notice it seems like the bikes are cross-running a lot, and that tells you that there's not a real consistent line, like that it's really messy out there. They're not really sure where they're going to go exactly, and so they just try to float through. But you see the rear tire catching edges all over the track, and it's just real inconsistent and, you know, sketchy at best.
Short down to the inside. And how about that? A lap ago, we were thinking that Han was going to move into 7th. Instead, he goes back to 9th. And Short showing the strength down the stretch. Well, Han's going to try to get it back. Not going to happen. Andrew Short got the spot.
Well, and that's the thing here with motocross, especially on the 450s. What I'm saying about the roost is you have to plan your lines. You have to take into consideration not just where you're going to point the front wheel, where you want to go, but where the roost is coming off the back.
Oh, wait a minute.
Got some steam coming off the KTM.
Oh, and Han sees that firsthand. Now, if you're Short, you just got to hope you can get that thing to the finish. There goes Han back to the inside. He makes the pass. What could this be? Wow. Uh-oh. Yeah, Short having all kinds of problems with the bike and finding the lines on the track, so Tommy Hahn gets the spot back. Wyndham, by the way, pointing out one of our spotters in here, dropped to 2:26 lap time. They may have a shot at even getting him by the time this one is over. There's 9 seconds between them, but they're going 5 seconds faster with 2 laps to go. So this is interesting, these spots. Wyndham 6th, Pourcel 7th, Short, Hahn back to 9th. A lot of different riders, and some are going faster at the end of the race than others. One thing hasn't changed. This guy, the number 1, continuing the lead. So 1 lap to go for Ryan Dungey, and he was in the same situation last year that Villopoto was in this year. He had just won that Supercross title. He came in here with the momentum as the favorite, but then he struggled big time. One of the worst performances we've ever seen from Dungey outdoors was last year at Hangtown.
We're trying to right the wrong, and I tell you, as we just seen that last lap, the 2 fastest riders on the track last lap was Davi Millsaps, who's up to 4th, and Christophe Pourcel, who turned a 2:19. And so kind of
where did that come from?
Yeah, out of nowhere. Riders that maybe you were questioning their fitness at this point are just proving everyone wrong and just really hammering it out. I mean, we've been 30 minutes on one of the most brutal motocross tracks that I've seen in a while. Hammering it out.
I think we might have to bring the Crafty Frenchman nickname back. Looked like Tommy Hahn had him. And then all of a sudden he stepped up his pace a couple of seconds, and he's going to hold on to that spot. That's Pourcel in 7th. But I'll tell you what, no answers for what Ryan Dungey was able to put down in this moto. He started 3rd. He worked his way past Metcalfe. He worked his way past Wyndham. And he was never challenged by Reed or Villopoto. This is a solid performance by your defending champion.
I can tell you, Jason, you're out there riding, you're back, you got the number 1 plate. This is how you want to start the championship. And it's a great feeling, but Dungey knows that this is a long, tough championship. All through the summer, there's all these variables, and then if you have a race where everything kind of goes as planned, I mean, you'll take that any day.
Yeah, and he knows also last year, as we mentioned, he struggled at this race, and then the very next week he won both motos at our 2nd race in Texas. So he knows that just because you win here, that doesn't mean necessarily anything in the long haul.
Well, and what we talked about earlier in this moto with Villopoto, kind of having that, coming down off of winning the Supercross title and everything that goes into that, and now you have to step it up and do it all over again in the Motocross Championship. So this year Dungey possibly had a little more time on a bike to test or whatever, but excellent performance by the reigning champion.
Well, he's headed for the checkered flag, and the fans are going to greet him with a big round of applause. Ryan Dungey wins the first moto of the season at Hangtown. What a performance at a right-hand turn, and he'll polish this one off. There it is, Ryan Dungey, your Moto 1 winner at Hangtown, and a nice gap. Seeing about 15 seconds between himself and Chad Reed the last time around. But Reed was able to outduel Villopoto. That is, providing he can hold that spot all the way to the end, and he will. Actually, look how close. There it is. That is Reed. I believe that's a teammate of Villopoto there coming through next. So Reed's going to take 2nd. So Reed proving that he's on his outdoor game as well. But Ryan Dungey, he's the man to beat because he has the number 1 plate, and so far they were not able to beat him. We'll talk to our winners when we return here live at Hangtown. First race of the day here at the opening round of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Giving you the coverage live on Fuel TV. And these fans were treated to a great first moto in the 450 class. Let's give you the race recap and show you exactly how this one went down.
Off the start, no surprise, but it was the Wyndham, the veteran Kevin Wyndham on the Honda, gets out front, followed by Kristen Craig, 144 there on the Lucas Oil Honda.
Wyndham runs into some trouble here. Watch him go off the track, and that allows the 2nd place rider, Ryan Dungey, to close the gap, and then he makes the move, Jeff.
Yeah, Kevin was putting in some good laps, but Dungey really started to find his lines. He got tired of taking roost from Wyndham, dropped the hammer right around the first turn area, and really checked out from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ryan Dungey's name goes in the books as the first winner in Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross 2011. Dungey takes the first moto win. Show you the results here. Bit of a shakeup late in the race. Couple riders putting on charges on the final laps. Dungey, Reed, Villopoto, we knew they were 1, 2, 3, but Millsaps and Metcalfe bust through for 4th and 5th. That'll drop Wyndham to 6th. Then it was Pourcel, Hahn, Short, and Byrne rounding out the top 10 at Hangtown. Show you 11 through 20. Ricky Dietrich making the transition from off-road to motocross, finished 11th. Mike Brown trying to keep that national number 3 in play. Scores some points and not scoring points. 21st place for the factory Monster Kawasaki rider Jake Weimer. That's not where he wanted to be. And Alessi, he's considered 39th because he did not go to the gate in this moto after crashing in practice. That is a heartbreaker for the Red Bull KTM team. Let's go down to the podium with Aaron.
The defending champion, Ryan Dungey, picking them off one at a time. Ryan, night and day difference from what happened here last year. Last year you struggled. What made the difference this time?
Definitely had a little bit of a struggle last year. I think just getting off to good starts, you know, it's really key and it's really important. It makes it a lot better as being up there in the front. But I got to give it up to Team Rockstar Suzuki. We worked hard today and it was fun. Track's really rough, so this second motor is going to be challenging, but hopefully get off to a great start and put down some good laps.
Ryan, you guys also made some bike changes throughout the day. You switched up your shock, made some adjustments. How much has that helped here on this track?
It definitely a lot. You know, we got really great guys who work hard. Adam at Show, he does a great job. So it's nice. We get together at the end of the day, and what they supply is helpful. So try to make a few changes, get a little bit better, and see if we can't get off to a better start.
Congratulations on getting that first moto of the season victory.
All right, there's Ryan Dungey. That's the first moto of the 450 division. We'll have the 250 class coming up next, and we'll have a special guest with us here in the booth along with Jeff and I to add some color to the show. Stay with us on Fuel TV.
Relive every
Big crowd here at Northern California's Hangtown, and we've got Aaron Bates down on the podium with our runner-up in our first 450 moto. Aaron?
Chad Reed making an abundance of changes today on the bike. Chad, suspension, shock, gearing, and tires. How much were you guys trying to make sure you were comfortable out there today?
No, you know, outdoors is all about being comfortable, and you know, I feel like when I'm comfortable, I can, you know, hang with these guys. So we made some positive changes, I think, all day long. You know, we're learning as we go. We've only pretty much done 3 days up until now, so looking forward to the second moto. Just good start to the season, I think, and just need to get a little better start, get out front, get some clean track. The track's pretty nasty on the first couple of laps, so it's not dusty. So just need to get out front and get some clear vision and go for it.
Congratulations on a job well done.
Who doesn't like celebrities, comedy, and music? The Daily Habit is your destination for the hottest stars, comics, and cutting-edge musical acts on TV. Watch it weeknights, 11 p.m. Eastern, only on Fuel TV. Let's go back down to Aaron with third place.
The freshly crowned Supercross champion, Ryan Villopoto, makes it up to the podium, Moto 1. Ryan, you weren't feeling well at all since we saw you last. How difficult is that as far as fitness goes today?
Yeah, you know, Hangtown's always a really physical track, and it's not too hot today, luckily, but you know, just getting back into it. Haven't been out here for 2 years, so you know, it's been nice. I'm looking forward to hitting all the rest of the rounds, and I can't thank everybody at Monster Energy Kawasaki and Thor Parts Unlimited and Volcom. Thank you guys.
Best of luck, second moto.
Yeah, that's right. It's a long championship tour here. Here's the upcoming events. We'll have our Hangtown highlight show. Of course, that's every Thursday night. Fuel TV will have highlights of each of these races. Then next weekend we'll be at Freestone in Wortham, Texas. We'll have our highlight show Thursday after that. And then round 3 High Point from Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, just outside of Pittsburgh. That'll be live at 1 p.m. Eastern. Basically, we'll have the first 2 motos of the day, the 450 and the 250, every single week on Fuel TV. And then a Thursday wrap-up show every Thursday night at 10. What great racing we saw here, and this is just the tip of what is going to be an awesome, awesome season in 2011. And we'll be back with more, including the first 250 moto after this.
It's back. The world's
live on Fuel TV, celebrating the 40th running of this historic AMA National Motocross Championship Tour. Let's show you the day when the hurricane swept onto the scene.
Plymouth, California, 1976, where it all began for Marty, would soon be the site of a new chapter and a new challenge for the unstoppable Smith, a young, unknown rider from Lancaster, California, by the name of Bob Hanna.
Marty would have probably still would have won a lot more races, but unfortunately he ran into the hurricane.
The successes of 74 and 75 would soon be put to the test for Marty. As spring arrived in Northern California, with it, one last storm out of the desert.
Marty was pretty much unstoppable until Bob Hanna came along.
Smith won, Croft second, and the rest of the pack's going for third. And I got third. It was like winning. It was like winning First American, because Smith is like an alien. I mean, nobody beats him. You know, it'd be just like racing with God. There would have been no, if he'd have come up on me, I would have just pulled over and said, goodbye. Well, unfortunately, it was my job to pound him into history. You know?
In front of a stunned 30,000 fans, the newcomer Hanna reeled in Honda's star in Moto 1 and led from the start in Moto 2, while Marty suffered mechanically.
Bob always rode the outside line as fast as that motorcycle would go. He wouldn't slow it down in the corners or off of a jump or anything. He would just keep the throttle pinned the entire time. And if the bike was sideways, so be it. He'd just ride it out.
Marty was unbeatable prior to Bob showing up at that race.
To watch him come through the pack was very impressive as a new guy on the block that was an unknown.
Bob clearly beat him in the first moto, and I'm sure that blindsided Marty to some degree. But going into the second moto, I believe the bike broke down, but Bob was beating him, I think, hands down before the bike did break, and maybe that was in some ways a relief.
You knew Bob Hanna was here to stay when you saw him that day.
It was disappointing in 1976 when Bob beat me, but we had a lot of problems with our bike in 1976. And that was the year that Yamaha came out with that OW2, or whatever it was, that water-cooled Yamaha, and that thing was a rocket ship.
I mean, I'm not going to say that that's why Bob beat Marty, but you know, there was clear eras of technology improvements where riders were attached to that success.
Even if our bike was perfect that year and I was on my game, I still may not have been able to beat Bob that year. But I know for a fact that if our bikes were a little better than that year than what they were, maybe just without breaking, the fact that if they just wouldn't break, I would have given Bob a good run that year. And I'm not saying Bob would have won or I would have won. We would have had a lot more better racing in '76 than what we did.
Marty Smith, Bob Hanna, two of the original stars of American motocross, and we'll be running through many great moments throughout this 40th year of AMA Motocross racing. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Hangtown. It is the Rockstar Energy Drink Hangtown Classic, the 43rd running of this race, which actually predates this, the 40th year of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. We've completed the first 450 moto, and the 250 class is up next. So let's do this the right way. We actually are honored with our 2010 250 class champion, Trey Canard, is going to join us in the booth for this moto. An historic season for Trey with an amazing comeback in the series championship standings, pulling out the title at our finale last season at Pala in Southern California. Unfortunately, Trey, you're here in the booth because you are not racing the 450 class as originally scheduled due to a leg injury. Welcome to the show, but what's the update here?
Yeah, you know, we're looking at, you know, maybe 3 weeks before we're actually riding again, and from there, you know, it kind of goes in, you know, in quantities of actually, you know, the progress that you make at the time. So hopefully that moves quickly, and I'm back here about midway through the series.
Well, it's great to have you in the booth here. You've got a former teammate here, Eli Tomac, that we're taking a look at. What's your thoughts on today?
I think it's going to be crazy in the lights class. I think you got a lot of young guys that are there that are excited. And I think you got a more experienced Justin Barcia, an experienced Brock Tickle, Tyler Rattray, who was amazing last year and think that is going to be really tough today, a more experienced Dean Wilson, and so many other guys. You know, Marvin Muskin, who is kind of the unknown for us Americans over here. He's been proved to, you know, win a world championship.
And yeah, and he was your fastest qualifier. So
Shoot, you take it. This guy nailed it. We have the big picture, and I think Trey got every one of them figured out. Here are the stories that we're going to be following all day long. First, Eli Tomac won the race last year at Hangtown. That is the former teammate of Trey. Last year they rode together. Then Brock Tickle, who does come in with a lot more experience now that he's won that Supercross championship, as did Justin Barcia, who did it in the lights class on the East. And don't forget some other riders you got to watch for. Today's fastest qualifier was Marvin Musquin, as you mentioned, so I think you nailed it. All the people that were looking at coming in, you got it dialed in.
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned Dean Wilson, but you know, he was really impressive to me last year racing him. He just had an experience level that was kind of before his time, I thought.
Yeah, definitely a phenomenal performance in his rookie year. Let's send it down to Aaron on the starting line. Aaron?
Eli Tomac made a huge statement when he won his first pro race here last year, but he said he has matured tremendously, both physically and mentally, since last year's rookie season. He said knowing the tracks is the biggest difference for him. He's able to get a good night's sleep the night before, knowing where he needs to go and who he needs to battle against.
All right, thanks, Aaron. That's a good report down there, the starting line. It's almost impossible to figure out what rider to follow, what rider to talk to. There are so many contenders in this 250 class. Although it was kind of like that at the beginning of the year last year, wasn't it, Trey?
Yeah, I think it's always like that. You know, the first race, you never really know who's going to be that guy. But, you know, I was talking to Jeff last year here, and he kind of said, get through that first race. You know, make sure that you get through there steady with an easy shot for the rest of the series. And I think that's what's important for today.
Yeah, I mean, you got to build the foundation. Yeah, I didn't tell you to take 4 races to warm up, because that's when you caught fire, but here we go. Let's go racing.
All right, the 250 riders have completed their sight lap. They know where the lines are. They are on the gate and ready to go racing. Almost impossible to pick a favorite with this group, especially because not only is Trey moving up to the big class, but Christophe Pourcel, who we just saw on the 450, was the other big championship contender last year, so he's no longer in this division as well, Jeff.
Yeah, and you've got all 5 manufacturers represented with riders that can win this moto.
Let's go racing on Field TV. And it's Eli Tomac, last year's hero here at Hangtown, out front again. And that's Malcolm Stewart with him on the outside on the Suzuki City Suzuki. But Tomac picking up where he left off at Hangtown 1 year ago, out front, Jeff.
Looks like, yeah, it's Malcolm Stewart challenging. Baggett's up there. You got Seeley.
Gannon Audette, I believe, in the number 3 spot on the Star Racing Yamaha. So what did you say about a whole bunch of different manufacturers? Well, they're all represented up front, but right now it is the Suzuki of Malcolm Stewart in his first ever pro motocross race at this level. He did race Supercross this year, but outdoors, it's his first shot as a pro. He's doing what Tomac did last year. He's leading them around.
Well, and Malcolm was only your 16th fast.
Oh, almost goes down. Holds on. Will he hold on to the lead, though? Side by side with Tomac. Tomac's going to have the inside of the bottom of this right-hander, but look at Stewart try to shove it in front of him, and he makes it work. Unbelievable.
Talk about a guy that you know just didn't really expect this out of. Man, he's really riding good. You can tell he really wants it right now.
Yeah, so Stewart, yes, that is the younger brother of James Stewart in the lead. Tomac second, and now Cole Seeley up to the number 3 spot. Wilson 4th, Gannon Audette 5th. And it'll be interesting to see Seeley and Tomac. There was a little bit of controversy with those two at the last Supercross in Vegas.
Well, and I mean, Big James and Sonia Stewart have guided their oldest son to becoming a champion. Hey, it could be Malcolm Summer, you know?
Absolutely. Right now, holding the lead. Tomac wants around him in the worst way, but Malcolm's just not going to let it happen.
Uh-oh, he may have a little heat here as Tomac goes by and takes the lead.
Yeah, Tomac able to get to the inside. Meanwhile, we're going to show you the replay to start. I believe it's Ryan Sipes going down here, Jeff. Just mass chaos in the first turn.
Yeah, just look for a blue rider. There they are. Oh. And that's why every week one of my keys to the race is to get out of the gate good and get a good start, because get back in there and
there's Sipes cruising.
Just up and going. He's almost a lap down right now as the leader should be coming around the finish line in first turn area.
And Sipes is a real favorite coming into this one. He won the last round of that Supercross Tour 2 weeks ago in Vegas. Tomac in the lead, then it's Stewart under pressure from Wilson.
Yeah, Sipes was their 5th fastest qualifier today, so he definitely was up to speed.
I think that, you know, we're not on Eli Tomac right now, but he's got to have really good feelings about this track. I know for myself, you know, you win a race or you do good at a race, you come back to that track and you almost have that same feel. You know, you're excited. You know you did well there. You know some good lines, and you know, he's got to be feeling good right now.
Oh, yeah, I definitely had that, and it was, for me, it was Redbud. Redbud was my go-to track. I knew once I went there that I could get things going, and that's just all the mental side of it. You know, you really, if you just change your attitude and decide that, hey, Hangtown, that's my go-to track. I've never finished good here, but this year, that's going to be my place. It really has so much to do with your thought process.
Malcolm Stewart holding off at Wilson and now Seeley. Hey, guys.
I look for Dean Wilson to be good in the second motos. I think that he's really creative with his line choice, and also whenever you get into the bumps and the whoops type areas like this, he seems to be really good about manualing the bike, like right there, hopping there, saving energy there, getting good bumps there.
And you mentioned earlier that you think that Dean Wilson has matured this year. In what ways, being on the 450 and then you're watching the 250 guys, what do you think is different about Wilson this year than last year?
I think he had his stuff together last year, and I think that that's important to I mean, you saw Ryan Dungey. It seemed like he got his stuff together, and it just always kind of been that way. Where Dean Wilson, I think he got it kind of figured out last year, and he definitely went through a tough Supercross series, and I think this is going to be a little bit of I don't want to say redemption, but this is going to be his championship to go after now.
Look at this battle. I'll tell you, Malcolm Stewart sure is stubborn. He doesn't care what the credentials of these guys are, or if it's his first race. He's doing everything he can to hold on to the spot. Finally, Wilson able to knife in front of him on the Monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki. So it's Tomac, Wilson, and Stewart now 1, 2, 3.
Well, this is where we're going to get an idea here of what the lap time is as Tomac goes by. He turns a 2:16. Wilson about half a second slower than that.
Look at Stewart trying to get Wilson back, and they almost came together. Now we're going to right-hand turn. This is one of the fastest sections of the track as the 139, the rookie, trying to hook onto the sophomore here, Wilson.
Do you think that Malcolm Mookie, do you think that he is going to kind of spin himself? Because he looks like he's using a lot of energy right now.
Yeah, to ride at that pace. I see what you're saying. I mean, makes a tiny mistakes there as he gets bucked going into that tight right-hander. Hey, time will tell. I mean, he's such a good kid. He's really fun to be around. He's starting to show progress here in the pro ranks, and the thing that he doesn't have is experience. And right now there's guys like Cunningham. There you got Rattray, former world champion. I mean, Barsha's back there. They have experience at racing at this level, and Malcolm's going to have to earn that along the way, and hopefully he keeps it on two wheels. Hopefully he gets some finishes to build his confidence, right, and to build that belief that he can't run into these guys, because for a lap, he's got the speed. Okay, so he's got those tools.
Woo! Whoa! Well, that's a battle here. Darren Durham, who is 5th, Kyle Cunningham 6th, Blake Baggett 7th, Rattray 8th, Barsha and Muskman round out the top 10. So basically we're looking at 5 through 10 of the same section of track.
That was giving me arm pump just watching that buck that Durham got there.
We're at 23 minutes.
Cole Seeley now rolling up on Stewart to try to take over the number 3 spot.
I'm telling you, I'm glad that Trey's in the booth with us, because I'm pumping up right now. I may not make it this whole moto. My fitness is not there. Okay?
I'm here if you need to tag me in.
Okay.
He knows it's a team race. Stewart gonna have to run the wide bike again, try to hold off Seeley. That's one thing you're gonna learn about racing here. The Supercross Tour, we divide the 250 class up between east and west, so you essentially only have half of the competition. Here, everyone races together, and he rides it again, and this time takes the wheels almost completely out from Seeley.
That was a scary place. There's that drop-off on the back. You kind of lose it coming off that. That might not be good.
Yeah, and there's, I believe it was the Lucas Oil banner there, but then beyond that, there's another drop-off. So it's kind of a double step down. That's going to accelerate the heart rate a little bit right there for Seeley.
Take us through this here, Trey.
Yeah, you see Seeley here. He's trying to set up Malcolm right here. Brings in some momentum, and Malcolm just doesn't let off. And yeah, kind of a scary situation. But, that was nothing wrong on either rider's part. Malcolm just didn't want him to pass him.
Well, look at this. Dean Wilson hooking up now and going after Eli Tomac. You kind of figure Tomac gets the lead. He's comfortable here. He might have pulled away. Not only Wilson, but I'm seeing Kyle Cunningham in the number 3 spot, hanging with the leader as well. So 8 minutes into this moto, we've got a long way to go. Actually, I believe that is Sipes. That's Sipes a lap down. On the 25, Cunningham a few spots back. So Sipes, he's already probably out of the points in this moto. He's out of the top 20. 1 lap back after 3 laps complete for Sipes. That's a big disappointment for him.
Yeah, but to make the best of this moto, Sipes, if he's feeling all right and there's no injury from that, if he's not shaken up, now's the chance. Okay, I may be a lap down, but if I get it together and I try to run this moto with the leaders, okay, now I'm going to get the pace, and I'm going to be ready for the second moto.
All right, it's a 2-man battle up front. That's not Kyle Cunningham, that's Ryan Sipes. So it's down to Wilson and Tomac up front early here live on Fuel TV. just getting started. Stay with us.
Simon Cowell's The X Factor is coming to Fox before 12 are over.
We got a battle on our hands here at Hangtown. First 250 moto, Eli Tomac. Not able to pull away like he did here last year. He has got Dean Wilson all over him, Jeff.
Wilson getting a little drive here. Let's see if he can find some momentum around the outside.
Oh, it's going to be close. Can he
got it.
squeeze him, and he makes it happen. Dean Wilson has caught and passed Eli Tomac.
Wow, let's take a look at this replay. Trey, what are you seeing here?
What I was thinking with this bump section, I was thinking that Wilson was going to be really good through here with the manlying and getting over the bumps really well. And you see him brings a lot of momentum down, keeps the front end light, and gets over those bumps really well and just brings it down with a lot more momentum. Has a good line on the outside and makes a pass.
What a great shot that was, because it showed just how many ruts and all the bumps headed down that hill. And not only does he make the pass, and then he gaps Eli there and gives him some breathing room. He's got about 1.5 seconds on him right now.
Well, you said it might be the second moto where he's shot it, but it's already happening for Wilson.
I think the track is so rough, just watching it, watching it really doesn't do it justice. And when you can see the bumps, even on the TV, you know that it's really rough. And like Jeff was saying earlier, the track's consistency is not there either.
Yeah, this is the section here headed down that downhill. There comes
Sipe, still a lap down, just to confuse me.
But he's hanging with the leaders, and his lap time's pretty good.
Baggett is actually in 4th place now, so he has gotten around both Malcolm Stewart and Cole Seeley. Here is Seeley now, who is in the number 4 spot. And look at this battle. Barsha going after Durham. Then there's Kyle Cunningham, Malcolm Stewart in the middle of that.
2 laps ago, Barsha was 10th.
Yeah.
Now he's up to 7th.
And at the back of that train, you got Muskin and Rattray, so lots of big hitters. Look at this. Mistake by Barsha. Cunningham going to try to get him.
And Seeley was off the track. That's why he's lost so much time. That's going to allow Durham, Barsha, who else? Cunningham, Rattray, everybody to close up. So Durham is really going to be under some pressure. I'm sorry, Seeley.
Well, Durham is as well, to be honest. And this is classic 250 class racing. Look at this battle.
And that's going to allow Stewart up to the number 4 spot as Seeley goes back. Wow.
Seeley on the inside, Durham on the outside. Barsha right behind Seeley. Durham is in the sandwich right now as he tries to make one pass and avoid getting passed by another. And Durham on the 1110 Mods Honda, that's a privateer bike, takes over the spot.
I think Seeley's really got to do damage control right now because he's lost one spot. It's so critical for him to keep in the momentum with the riders. You lose one spot, it turns into just a giant snowball. You lose 5-6 positions.
Well, I hate to bring you back to this, but a year ago at Hangtown, you got the lead in the first moto, and once you got in a battle like this, it was tough.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say is, you lose that momentum, you lose the confidence, and it turns into just a bad day. So.
All right, so Durham is now up to 3rd. Seeley, Barsha battling it out. This is incredible racing. Barsha's got the pass made. He's going after Durham. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, and I thought at the top of that hill that I see Malcolm Stewart down. And yes, as they come around, Stewart now drops to 9th as he was down in that same turn where he got together with Seeley earlier. So that's going to put him back when he had a nice, solid top 5 ride going.
Barsha going for 2nd. Durham is going to beat him to the punch. And huge bounce on the downhill for Durham, and he still holds off Barsha.
Well, almost takes Barsha with him there with the mistake, but there's 3 different Honda teams represented in that battle there.
Oh, and Barsha tries it again. Durham proving very stubborn here in the number 3 spot. Remember, Barsha was about 10th just a few laps ago. Climbed all the way up to 4th. Wants a podium spot. It might be too late for him to go after your leaders, Tomac and Wilson, but in this series, we do 2 motos. We'll be back later today to race another 30-minute plus 2-lap event.
You know what I like about Justin Barsha right now is I think that, if you saw him in 09, his rookie year, and then you watch him now, he's a lot more composed, and I think that's going to help him as far as the fitness side of things, and also, the championship side of things. He's not going to make dumb mistakes and really ruin his chances, but you see Durham.
He's all over the place. Durham was off the track once again. Lucky that he not only kept the position, but also that he didn't get into Barsha there when he came back on the track.
And another huge
brutal
kick
right now.
Man, I can't believe Durham's hanging on to this thing.
Yeah,
a couple big mistakes in this lap.
His bike does, I'm not too to bash on anybody, but he doesn't look too comfortable. He's had a lot of kicks and a lot of problems, and that could be some of the lines that he's hitting, and also just a lack of testing time. But
well, I mean, and this is the first round. Each team is going to learn something. Even the team that wins here, the bike that wins, they're still going to try to improve it next week, right? Try to take something and learn from it.
Yeah, I think this race also, like I was saying earlier, like you were telling me last year, to take some things from this race, get through this race, and give yourself a shot for the rest of the series. But you're going to learn so much from that first race that can help you, and I think it's really showing that that haven't had a whole lot of time to really get that bike dial. But with the track being as rough as it is, I don't think that any bike is really going to work especially great.
Yeah, but I mean, look at Durham right now. Just turned a 218.4, a little bit off of Wilson and Tomac are turning 217s, but Durham, basically as fast as any rider out there, is running a top 3 here, well, at least for the moment.
What is that move from Barsha on the inside? Taking the leg off. He couldn't make the pass here a lap ago. He's going to try it this time. Durham has proved stubborn, and he still manages to hold off Barsha. Unbelievable race between these two.
Well, and this is the stuff here as Barsha's trying to work his way through those incredibly deep ruts. He's putting out a lot of effort. He's trying to make his way past Durham because he's passed all these other riders. He's got the momentum, but Durham has just been stingy with this top 3 position.
Well, Durham, I think on the list of all the contenders we thought, I don't know when we were saying 10 or 12 riders could win. I don't know if people were thinking Durham. He missed a lot of races in Supercross with a broken foot. He's on a privateer team. But I'll tell you what, he doesn't care about the credentials or what kind of bike Barsha's on. He's going to fight him for this podium spot.
He's kind of calmed down, it looks like. Before he's had a lot of mistakes, but kind of looks a little more composed.
Yeah, but I tell you, he's got that camera on the top of his helmet too, so he's going to go back after this moto and get a chance to watch his own laps, and he's going to see some moments in there that he'd rather not replay.
Dean Wilson has about a 2.5-second lead over Eli Tomac. We're past the halfway point in this moto. Will he be the first winner in the 250 class this year? You're going to have to keep watching to find out. Who doesn't like celebrities, comedy, and music? The Daily Habit is your destination for the hottest stars, comics, and cutting-edge musical acts on TV. Watch your weeknights, 11 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, only on Fuel TV. Give me an update on your 2-time and would have been defending champion in the GPs over in Europe, but deciding to move to the U.S. this year and making a good run of it so far in his first race here, Jeff.
Marvin Musquin from France.
Nicely done.
Yeah, and lap times are pretty good. He just turned a 2:18.8 right there with the leader. And we had an interesting conversation. He was telling us about the difference between his bike that he rides for the GPs and the Grand Prix versus the bike here for the U.S. Their sound, the decibel level's much lower, and they run a different gasoline. And he says this bike here by far has more horsepower, than what he rides in the GP. So he likes riding it.
He's at 5th. Let's go back to this battle for 3rd. Durham and Barsha still going at it. It closes up. They pull back away from each other. It closes up again, but Durham's definitely hanging.
And I tell you who's closing up also is in 6th is Blake Baggett, turned to 2:17.2. Musquin was the 2:18.8, but it seems like they're all 4 are in this shot.
Absolutely.
Durham off the track once again. He found a smooth line down the inside.
He's definitely pushing the envelopes out there. Here comes Baggett up for Musquin, and they're all over Barsha.
And the yellow stakes that you see there sticking up, that is the track. That's the guidelines. If you go off the track, you have to re-enter in a safe place, but you really can't gain an advantage.
All 4 of these riders have a shot at the podium in this moto. Durham is 3rd, but it's close between all 4, Trey.
I'm really interested in how Musquin's ride. I think that, what we experienced the last couple of years with Pourcel, it doesn't really look like he's trying too much, but he's still making up time and finding really good lines on the track. I haven't seen Musquin ride very much, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. He's, not too flashy, nothing too seriously eye-catching, but, just a smooth, fluid rider, and you can see it paying off.
Well, last year when we went to the Motocross of Nations, you were the U.S. champion. He was the world champion. You were really looking forward to racing him? I presume that it didn't quite turn out like that, but
yeah, it was unfortunate. I think he had some bike problems, but I got to race Ken Roxon, who obviously was a huge threat in the Supercross series this year. Man, the style of racing for those guys and for us is just completely different. You see the kind of the differences here. You see Baggett, who is really aggressive, and then you kind of see Muskin, who's kind of, you know, really fluid and doesn't look like he's putting much effort out, but going just as fast.
Lap times are great. This battle,
Baggett
just getting in there.
What a battle. Yeah, Baggett's going to get him. So earlier in the moto, Baggett was ahead. Muskin did a pass. Now Baggett's going to get him back. They're right behind Barsha, who's right behind Durham. 6 minutes and 2 laps to go. What a race.
Wait, at one point, Baggett was ahead of Durham and Barsha, and now there's like a resurgence here where he's got it together, got his heart rate in check, his breathing, possible any arm pump or any issue that he had, got his concentration back, and he's focused on putting in some great laps. And Baggett, 2:17.6, Barsha, or Durham was a 2:20, Barsha 2:21, Muskin a 2:18. So Baggett actually the fastest lap of anyone last lap.
Gotta love this 250 class. You just can't count on anything. One guy moves forward, one guy moves back, then they regroup. Meanwhile, Tomac, Wilson, only about 2 seconds separating them up front, so many things to watch. Let's keep an eye out on Baggett going after Barsha.
I think it's really important for Barsha to get around Durham. Well, Durham pulling away. But those two they're racing each other, and you can see these guys kind of coming up.
Yeah, and that's what I spoke about earlier. Barsha was kind of letting it all hang out. He wanted to get past Durham, made the attempts, but it didn't happen.
Here's Baggett. Baggett going from outside to inside. Let's see how this pays off at the finish of this section. He's got the spot. So Baggett able to make 2 passes. Is that what you're alluding to, Trey, that Barsha couldn't get around Durham and now he's falling into the clutches a bit?
Yeah, I think that, you know, not that he wasted time, but he put a lot of effort into getting around, and I think he maybe could have, you know, I think, you know, he probably would have passed him had Durham not made that mistake and almost took up both of them down. But
yeah, but I mean, you get into that situation, and Barsha had all this momentum, and now he's lost another spot, but you had all of this momentum going, and then you kind of stall out when you're having trouble getting past another rider.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of saying. You know, you run into a rider, you can't get around him, you're kind of sticking to his pace, and there goes your momentum, and all of a sudden you got 2 guys on you.
There goes Baggett. Baggett's passed 3 riders in a lap, and it's now up to 3rd.
And that's the momentum. If you can do that, bam, 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 make it happen. Barsha was unable to make that happen. He stalled out there, and I don't want to take anything away from Byrne's ride because this is a fantastic ride.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But Baggett here, that was kind of executed, that stuff, just made it happen.
Aaron, what do you have on Blake Baggett?
Well, guys, he was last year's rookie, and he also said that he's made some big changes this year. He expects to be in that top 3 or a win, and he is definitely confident. But the biggest thing that he took from last year is he wants to capitalize on other people's mistakes instead of other people capitalizing on his mistakes. So I think we're going to see a resurgence here from Blake Baggett.
You know, in the preseason testing, I heard that, you know, the Pro Circuit team, they'll have all their riders who are all fast. You know, they'll battle for fast lap time. And so what I was hearing on the inside is that anytime Baggett needed to go out and get the fast lap of the day, he could do it. And that's against guys like Wilson and Rancho and Brock Tickle. Oh, no, Durham, who's 4th, is down.
There goes Seeley, who was an 8th, so that's going to put him 8th right now.
Oh, terrible. One of those great rides that's not going to show up now in the results. Was 3rd and then 4th.
Now
he's got company.
Yeah, but he's got to regroup right now. He's got Cunningham here behind him, and something like that, so you kind of see him standing up on the bike there.
We got a replay here, Jeff. Take us through what happened to Durham. He's right behind Muskin.
Take it, Trey. You're the guest.
Yeah, you can see him coming in and gets that little kick, which leaves him unbalanced, and then he loses his hand due to trying to miss that lap rider. But man, it's such a bummer for him. And then you see Barsha going over the ruts, possibly losing a little more time. But
yeah, it looked like he was committed to the inside, and the lap rider was there. He couldn't squeeze around the outside. So,
meanwhile, Dean Wilson, we have not seen him in a while because he is weathered the storm. It looked like Tomac gave another little push, got to within 2 seconds. Now Wilson has pulled it back out to 4.5. That's the gap. Did Dean Wilson win the first race of the year? Find out. We'll be right back. Listen up, action sports fans. It's the world's greatest skateboarding event on the planet, and it's coming to you live from the Big Apple. Watch the Maloof Money Cup from New York City, Saturday, June 4th and Sunday, June 5th, live at 4 p.m. Eastern, only on Fuel TV. Jeff?
Well, as we're back looking at the 57 here of Blake Baggett, the last 2 laps, he turned a 2:17.3, now a 2:17.7. our leader, Wilson, who's having a fantastic race, was only at a 2:20. So Baggett, by far the fastest rider on the track.
That battle has settled down a bit. Muskin is all alone now in 4th. And now Tyler Rattray, who have not seen much of, is taking advantage of some mistakes by Durham, some mistakes by Barsha. He is all alone, but he's in the top 5, so that's not bad for the first moto of the year.
This guy is so solid. I remember racing him last year. You know, if you were having that bad race where you know you're just kind of struggling, floundering around through the past few laps, and you knew this guy was coming. I mean, it doesn't matter where he starts. It seems like he just keeps tracking along every lap.
Yeah, he kind of has, to me, he kind of has that Mike LaRocco style of just, you know, on the tough days like this, and especially this second moto, this is going to be the guy to look for, because when it gets more physically demanding, and it's just, I mean, you really have to man up. It was Mike LaRocco in my era that you were going, okay, this guy is the one to watch for the second moto.
Rattray is a former champ over in the Grand Prix Tour of Europe as well. His 3rd year in the U.S. Struggled a bit in his debut in 2009, but was solid in 2010. Actually finished 2nd in the series standings when it was all said and done. And Trey, with you now out of the class, a lot of people think the 28 could be the favorite. He might not be the fastest guy every week, but in 24 motos, 12 rounds, you know he's going to be there week in and week out.
And also he has a championship figured out, you know, with the World Championship in 2008, I believe.
Yep.
You know, he knows how to put together, and last year with, you know, finishing 2nd, he knows how to put the championships together. And, you know, I think that it's going to be a long series, and I think that he will be one of the guys that really shines towards the end.
Now, taking a look at the track here in this moto, trying to compare it to last year, how physically demanding is it? And does it look rougher than last year, different?
I think it looks different. I think that the soil, the things that they put on, the rice, whatever, the rice holes, whatever you're saying, but I think that really softened it up. And I know that they've had an extreme amount of rain here this year as well, and I think it's really made that ground a lot more soft. And I think that has a lot to do with the bigger braking bumps, and then, you know, that stuff kind of pushing off, and you can see kind of you got the big bumps, and then where it's pushed off, you start to get this little chatter, I think, and that makes for a really tough track.
Well, you got that right. But Wilson so far, little less than 2 to go. Weege is out front, looking good. He's now got 8 seconds over 2nd, which is Eli Tomac.
I think it really shows, again, how deep this field is. All the contenders people were talking about, Barsha and Brock Tickle with the Supercross titles coming in. Muskin and Rattray have won championships in Europe. Tomac, who won this race last year, almost got overshadowed a little bit, the number 15 of Dean Wilson, who didn't have the Supercross tour he wanted, but he's back in the spotlight now.
And I tell you, our leaders have got to be happy that there's a little less than 2 to go, because Baggett last lap around was a 2:17.4, so that's 3 2:17s in a row.
He's not that far back.
When everyone else is 2:20 or higher.
So a good 3 seconds a lap quicker than the 2 riders in front of him. You're right, Jeff. He might just run out of time. But he's in the picture.
Yeah, but he fell back in the beginning, middle part of this race. It seemed like he's regrouped, which is kind of uncommon. You know, you don't really see a rider regroup and like come back like this. But boy, Baggett,
he's got that momentum right now. You know, when he got around that group, Durham and Muskin and Barsha, he's got a lot of momentum coming off that. So these guys, you know, not that, you know, there's much time for it, but if he absolutely, you know, if these guys make a mistake, he catches up to him. He's got that momentum. These guys need to make sure they put in a strong last 2 laps.
All right, we're headed toward the white flag. Last lap for Wilson. Shouldn't be a problem for him. It's a little bit closer, though, between Tomac and Baggett. All right, so Dean Wilson actually rode well here last year, but had a crash midway through the first moto, so his results didn't really show it. But he's obviously comfortable on this track. Look at this. Baggett is within a few bike lengths of Tomac. What has to go?
A 2:14.2 out of Blake Baggett. A 2:14. Wilson 2:19. Tomac a 2:18. That's incredible. He has got the mojo working. He's got the lines on the track. He's got it figured out, and he's using it to his advantage. And Eli Tomac is going to have to be tough on this last lap, or that 2:14 is just going to blow right by.
Well, if you saw the graphic at the top of the screen, that's the fastest lap that anyone has put in this race. And Jeff, talk about how difficult that is to do on the last lap.
Well, he's had the ability to get out there and search for lines when he was in that pack of riders and he's definitely found something. Watch what he's doing here to the inside. Going to get chopped a little. No.
Unbelievable. Tomac, nothing he could do. Just Baggett's on a rail, and he takes over second. He had a massive gap to make up, and he has done that.
And look at Baggett, how he's staying. He's riding totally different lines than everyone else. He's really zigzagging around to find the smooth line where he can really put the power down.
He's got this track figured out. He must have crashed, or man, I can't see him fading like this, and then all of a sudden, you know, making this turnaround. And man, I'm just really impressed with this. He's got, man, that mojo, that flow, that rhythm around this track that's really hard to find on a day like today.
Well, what a confidence builder that would be, Trey, going into the second moto, knowing that, hey, I've got this figured out. I'm happy with the bike, and a happy rider, right, is a fast rider.
Yeah, and it's really, you know, for him, it would set the tone for the season. You know, he starts it off right. You know, you don't have to build that confidence. You got it right from the bat.
Well, we always seem to sing in praises of this team, Monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki. I guess we're going to have to do it again because their riders are 1-2 on the final lap of this first moto. Confidence builder for Baggett for sure, but what can you say about Dean Wilson, who took it to Eli Tomac, and it looks like he's going to take the checkered flag in this one if he can hang on for a few more corners. Great performance for the 15.
Yeah, I mean, just look at him. You know, just on cruise mode, just soaking it in. Really put in his work in the beginning and kind of rode it out from there.
Good start for the championship chase for sure. They will score max points. Dean Wilson wins the first 250 moto of the year at Hangtown, and Blake Baggett, he even made it a race there. Only 4.5 seconds between them. It was 20 just a few laps ago. Tomac going to take third. That's a podium, but I'm sure he's not happy about getting run down like that. We'll be back to talk to all three of these riders when we return on Fuel TV.
It's back. The world's greatest.
Back at Hangtown, opening round of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship, the Rockstar Energy Drink Classic at Hangtown. And we've got a first moto winner on the podium. Dean Wilson is with Aaron Bates. Aaron?
Dean Wilson picked up right where he left off with that final race. Dean, coming in, you said that you didn't have the speed that you thought you needed. Do you retract that statement, or did you change something up?
I don't know. I mean, I actually didn't come off to that great of a start, and just picked my way through the pack really fast, and going to the lead, and about halfway through, my stomach was just killing me. Like, it was tightening up really bad. And I just don't think my food digested from when I ate earlier. So that was really sore, but my bike was awesome. I'd like to thank Monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki, Thor, Dunlop, my mechanic Paul, my mom and dad, my family here from Scotland, Toyota Escondido for my sick truck, Dirt Shark, Scott, anybody else I forgot, thank you so much.
Way to start off the first moto of the season.
All right, thanks, Aaron and Dean. Let's give you the results here from the first moto at Rockstar Energy Drink National Hangtown. Wilson, Baggett, Tomac on the podium. Good debut in the U.S. for Musquin, 4th. Rattray, 5th. Barsha, Seeley, Cunningham, Gareth Swanepoel from South Africa, and Darren Durham round out your top 10. Tough run for Durham. He was in podium position almost all the way to the end of that moto. Let's go back down to the podium.
Coming into today, Blake Baggett said you had the first race jitters of the season. Did you get those jitters out of the way, and are you content with that performance, Blake?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely got the jitters out of the way. I'm content with the performance. I crashed in the back, so I had to come through and pass a lot of people, but I got to give it up. Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Parts Unlimited, Thor, Alpine Star, Volcom, Scott, Dunlop, my mom, my dad, my girlfriend, my whole family, and the team. Thank you very much.
Congratulations on a job well done.
Who doesn't like celebrities, comedy, and music? The Daily Habit is your destination for the hottest stars, comics, and cutting-edge musical acts on TV. Watch it weeknights, 11 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, only on Fuel TV. Back down Aaron with our third place finisher. Aaron?
Eli Tomac getting that whole shot. Eli putting in an amazing charge out there, but you kind of slid a little bit off the pace, and you were really fired up, determined going out there.
Yeah, you know, it was obviously great to get the whole shot. And then I started putting down a couple fast few laps there, and I might have gone out a little bit hard, or it was the first moto of the year, jitters. I mean, yeah, I just rode a little bit tight, but I should be back better for the second moto.
Will you be able to duplicate what you did last year and take the overall?
I'm looking to go out there and get another whole shot like that, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
Best of luck.
All right, Trey, what do you think? Strong performance for the Kawasaki boys. Do you think Tomac might be able to bounce back in moto number 2?
Yeah, I think, you know, first race of the year, I think that Tomac had a good start and overall a good moto. You know, to start out with a podium, I think that's, you know, a good way to start it. But, man, Blake Baggett, you know, he had a 2:14 the second last lap and then backs it up with a 2:15.
On the last lap.
On the last lap. And, that, you know, I didn't see many people, you know, with 2:17s that whole moto. And You know, I think he's going to be the guy to look for in the second moto, but, you know, obviously Dean Wilson, you know, getting that first moto win, that's going to be your guy to beat.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about good things coming in small packages. I mean, Blake Baggett's not a very big person, okay, and Wilson, on the other hand, he's really tall. He's got these big boots and just, you know, use that to his advantage. But wow, what a contrast between the two riders, and to have them both first and second,
and on the same bike.
Yeah, the same bike. It's a very interesting start to the 250 championship.
Now, folks, you want to check out our second motos from Hangtown. They will be on tomorrow afternoon on Speed. That's noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific for our 250 class. Basically a 2-hour block on Speed tomorrow. Our 450 class will be on right before that. So 11 Eastern and noon Eastern Pacific, or Eastern tomorrow, to watch 450 and 250 Moto 2s on Speed. So a lot more racing action to come here from the Rockstar Energy Drink Hangtown National. So glad you folks could join us here for our first ever live motocross race here on Fuel TV. We'll be back with more right after this.
It's back, the world's greatest skateboarding event.
We are back here live on Fuel TV at Hangtown, and this is a great first moto, really indicating what a deep championship field this is. We'll give you the highlights of how this one broke down with our race recap. Jeff, it started out with one of the favorites grabbing the whole shot.
Yeah, look at Eli Tomac holding it on, sweeping around the outside, and it was one of the early season favorites. Also, Ryan Villopoto, who goes down, but up front, the battle was between Wilson and Malcolm Stewart.
Yeah, Malcolm Stewart shined in his first couple laps in his first pro motocross race, but Wilson cleared him and then went after Tomac. Didn't just catch him, he passed him. And after that, he couldn't be headed. Said he had some stomach cramps, but apparently that didn't slow him down much. Dean Wilson comes out on top. Moto number 1 here in California. Guy had a strong season last year as a rookie and looks to be even better as a sophomore. Meanwhile, we have a rookie in the U.S., but a man who's won some championships overseas. Mr. Marvin Musquian is on the podium with Aaron. Take it away.
4th place, not so bad considering, Marvin. You started in 11th place after that first lap. You had a lot of guys that you needed to pick through. Are you happy with your performance?
Yeah, it was a good race for me, strong race, and track is rough and a lot of braking bumps. So for me, it's completely new and different than Europe, and the start was is really short. So looking for a good start for the second moto and maybe a podium overall. So yeah, 4th is not so bad for my first race, and I'm happy to be here finally racing outdoors AMA.
What's the biggest change that you've noticed as far as tracks go from Europe to here?
The track was very soft for the first practice, so there is a lot of ruts, a lot of braking bumps. So yeah, I have to be focused, and my KTM bike is awesome and very strong. So the team is working pretty hard. My mechanic Guillaume, my trainer Yannick Vela, my girlfriend. So everybody is working hard, and I'm happy. Very looking for this championship.
Great job out there for Moto 1.
All right, that's a 4th. That'll put him in contention possibly for the overall win, depending how it shakes down in Moto number 2.
Yeah, and that definitely was a solid moto overall for him.
Absolutely.
All the way the full 35 minutes.
So get to know this guy. He'll be in contention all year long. Here's your upcoming Fuel TV schedule. Remember, every Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, that's Thursday nights, we'll have a highlight show after each race, and then we'll be live with our first motos every week from each race. So Freestone will be our next event in Wortham, Texas. That'll start at 2 p.m. Eastern. Then we'll have a highlight show of that on Thursday night. Then round 3 from High Point in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. That'll start live at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. That's a 2-hour block of live first motos each and every time we go racing in the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Want to thank this guy, Trey Canard, for stopping by. You're 1 hour closer to returning to racing now, right?
Yeah, we're there. We're just got to keep working and, you know, hopefully make it back somewhere in the middle of the series.
And so what sort of physical therapy right now? You said that you're swimming, cycling a little?
Yeah, I just started cycling this past week, and I'm not a very good swimmer, so that's been the best physical therapy for me.
All right, well, we hope to see Trey back in the track probably about the midway point of the year. Lots of superstars here to race even without him, and we'll be giving you the coverage all season long here on Fuel TV. So glad you could join us for the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. For Trey Canard, Jeff Emig, and Aaron Bates, I'm Jason Wygant. Thank you for joining us. Big congratulations to our first moto winners, Ryan Dungey on the 450 and Dean Wilson on the 250. We'll see you on Fuel next week and on Speed Sunday afternoon. In a magical 2010 season, Suzuki's Ryan Dungey dominated the outdoor season like few before him. Ryan Dungey wins Southwick and the 450 class champion of Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross for 2010. In 2009, Chad Reed defied the odds and claimed a title few in the industry thought he could win. Chad Reed putting his name in the history books as the 2009 Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. After years of battling one injury after another, Ryan Villopoto comes into the outdoor season with a Supercross championship and the clear role of title favorite.
Ryan Villopoto has done it! He has won his first ever AMA Supercross and a FIA World Championship!
These riders face off on a 12-race journey that begins today at Hangtown as the 40th season of AMA Motocross begins on speed. We're just outside of the state capital of Sacramento, California for the opening round of the 2011 Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. It's the 43rd running of the Rockstar Energy Drink Hangtown Classic. Hello everyone and welcome to Hangtown as we celebrate the 40th anniversary of this tour. Jason Wygant joined by four-time AMA National Champion Jeff Emig, and we're excited about Speed's coverage of this 450cc class. Championship is stacked coming in. We'll give you the big picture of some of the storylines we'll be following today. First of all, Ryan Villopoto coming in with momentum. He wrapped up the Supercross Championship just 2 weeks ago, and he likes to think that he's even better outdoors than in. But he'll have to go through last year's champion Ryan Dungey to get this title. Dungey's not going to give up this crown without a fight. And don't forget the wild card, Christophe Pourcel, who did not race a 450 bike indoors this year. He's going to make his debut today outside. So we throw it over to you, Jeff. Just talk about how stacked this field is and really how exciting this whole series is going to be.
Well, it definitely is. And you look at the three riders that you mentioned, I mean, they are so fired up, and there's talent, there's determination, there's all this. They have the qualities of the champions. There's a host of other riders that I believe are going to get in there and shake this thing up. But here we are. We got a beautiful day here in Sacramento. As we move through this championship, it's going to get hotter. So physical conditioning, the mental strength, all that's going to play a part as we get through 24 motos, 12 rounds of this championship to finally crown the champion in what is the biggest, most important motocross championship on earth, AMA Motocross. So I'm excited to get this thing going.
We'll show you exactly how the format works. We run 2 motos each weekend at AMA Motocross. Our 450 class means we'll run 450cc engines in the bikes. And after those 2 motos, we'll total up the scores from both of those races to determine an overall winner. And in case we have a rider that wins one and gets second in another, and then we get a flip-flop Moto 2, hey, we'll break that tie. Whoever gets the best finish in Moto 2 wins it. Show you what it's like to go ride here at Hangtown with our onboard lap GoPro. Take us through it, Jeff.
You're on board with Valley Motorsports Yamaha's Nick Way. This is a really difficult, interesting section. You come down this hill, you start shifting gears, and you're actually doubling and tripling down through there. And these holes are so deep when you get through there. Here in the second moto, that corner is going to be so rutted, I mean, all the way across. This is a tough track here. So we take a look at the track map. One thing to remember is this soil is actually really hard clay. What they've done is they applied rice hulls and mixed it in with the soil. So in spots it's hard, some spots it's soft. It does hold moisture pretty well, but overall the consensus is that from opening lap of qualifying practice today to what now is the second moto, this track has slowed down tremendously, upwards of 10 to 15 seconds slower than the fastest lap time earlier today.
All right, now we mentioned we raced 2 motos in this 450 class. We already have the first moto today complete. So let's give you the highlights. Fans were pumped on this start. Jeff, take us through the whole shot.
Here is Kevin Windham, replacement rider on factory Honda, grabbing the whole shot and just really had a spectacular moto going, but the battle was behind.
Yeah, Brett Metcalfe and Ryan Dungey, pair of Suzuki teammates battling it out. Dungey on the number 1 goes past Metcalfe on the 24th, takes second.
And then things start to unravel a little bit for the veteran. You see him make a critical mistake. Crafty as he is, he keeps the Honda on 2 wheels and keeps the lead for a bit.
Yeah, not for long though. Here comes Dungey to the inside. He was able to take advantage of the mistake, and your defending class champion pulls away. And Dungey is going to be able to hold it from there. Now watch this, through the pack. Wyndham drops back a little bit. Pass by Villopoto, who's coming through and coming in a hurry.
There was some strong rides out of our top three, and it was the 22 here of Chad Reed that put on one of the best rides considering the limited time that he's had to test.
Yeah, he will climb up to second. Villopoto got by him. Dungey takes the win. Reed would pass Villopoto back, takes second place back. So we'll show you the results of Moto number 1. It's Dungey, Reed, Villopoto, 1, 2, 3. Millsaps and Metcalfe round out the top 5. Let's send it down to Aaron Bates on the starting line with a progressive pre-race report.
A source of the industry informed me that the series and the team advised Mike Alessi to sit out not only this weekend, but probably a few weekends. They're recommending he go and get a CT scan, sit out probably at least a month.
Wow, okay, thanks, Aaron. That's Mike Alessi with fastest at practice today. That was in the first practice session, but then disaster in practice session number 2 for Mike.
Just a horrendous crash. He is not on the line here today.
Man, a heartbreaker. Let's go racing here, Moto 2. Ryan Villopoto's got the start this time on the Monster Energy Kawasaki, but there's Dungey right with him. Mike Brown, number 3, is third. For how long, though? He's got Wyndham all over him.
And your top 3 have now gated 1, 2, and 3, followed by Wyndham is in there. Look at this, a 3-way battle.
Woo! Yeah, Reed got around Brown, and now he's going after Villopoto, and Dungey takes the lead. 3 championship favorites in the same corner at the same time, and Villopoto gets it back. What racing right out of the gate here, Jeff. Well, they're not waiting around in this one.
Yeah, and this track has changed so much from the 250 moto and the women's moto that was that has been in between their first moto and now. And these riders are getting they had a parade lap, but now they get a chance to race it at speed. And they're finding out that these holes and all these bumps are much bigger than Moto 2. And look at Villopoto just weaving his way down the hill.
Wyndham has gotten around Reed, sorry, then Reed's trying to get him back. So we got action all over the place. Dungey and Villopoto leaning on each other for first and second. Wyndham and Reed for third and fourth.
Yeah, and the thing about the track now is it's really inconsistent on where the water and the moisture is versus where it's not. You see light sections and dark sections where it's dark is where it's wet. And so you go from these dry sections where the traction to be good, and then you hit a wet section, you know, and you lose the traction. So the track, see right there in those wet sections everywhere, that is really slippery. But by the end of the moto, those sections might dry up and become the best line.
So Wyndham's still in fourth, right behind Reed. And we're waiting years to see these 2 riders up front hook it up, Dungey and Villopoto. What do you got on Kevin Wyndham there, Aaron?
Well, guys, when I spoke with the team manager, Eric Kehoe, in between motos, they told me that they had a problem develop with the bike mechanically during that moto.
Ah, okay, so that might be the issue there for Wyndham. We were thinking, hey, he hasn't been on the bike in 2 weeks after a crash at the last Supercross race in Vegas. Apparently it wasn't a physical issue. He's strong.
Yeah, it's not that he's just getting old or anything of the sort. He is 33 years young, and he is out there hammering it. I mean, such an impressive ride just all the way through. And when the track gets really rough like this, this is when you see Kevin Wyndham's technique and his style really shine. And that's what's given him the longevity in the sport and to be at the top level for so long is he does it really through his style and his technique. I mean, it's you know, one to be duplicated.
Still, Villopoto over Dungey and Reed, 1, 2, 3, then Wyndham. And let's give a call to the 5th place rider, Jake Weimer, who finished 21st in the first moto earlier today. Huge disappointment for him, but he is up in the top 5 early in Moto 2. And you'll see some hints of that green fender behind Wyndham on a couple of these longer sections. Jeff, we're going to show you the whole shot here, and you can take us through with our progressive whole shot replay.
Well, look for the green front fender. Look at Villopoto on the 450 Cowie out of the gate. He's solid, and he is grabbing gears so fast. He actually stood up on the pegs to put more weight on the rear tire so that the tire of that Cowie just dug in. That, I mean, that's like 125 technique where you're trying to just manual it. But he made it happen, and so far this second moto, he is out front dominating it. But telling you what, the reigning champion, he looked pretty good in the first moto. Fitness is definitely there for both these riders.
Yeah, the 125, that's the old little 2-stroke bikes. These are big 450cc monsters, but
yeah,
put that power to the ground.
The piston diameter on the 2 bikes I was comparing is only like, you know, 2 inches difference. You know?
Yeah, massive difference in power, but he's riding it like a small bike. But Dungey trying to hang with him. In Moto 1, Villopoto was pretty strong early, past Chad Reed to get up front, but then wasn't quite as strong toward the end of the moto. We have heard that he is a little bit under the weather. And he also told us on the podium he really has not raced motocross in 2 years. Injuries took him out in both 09 and 2010. But the way he's riding earlier in this second moto, you would think he's in full mid-season form right now. So Villopoto leads Dungey, Reed, Wyndham, and Weimer. But we are just getting started from the Rockstar Energy Drink Hangtown Classic. Stay with us. Speed's coverage of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship is brought to you by Lucas Oil. Made in America, sold to the world. By the 2011 Toyota Tundra, one of the most capable half-tons ever. And by RockyMountainMC.com, your one-stop shop for parts, apparel, and accessories. RockyMountainMC.com. Get ready. Battle is on here at Hangtown. Ryan Villopoto continues to lead. Ryan Dungey, Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship from Northern California's Hangtown. Been racing here for 43 years. This championship tour is celebrating a 40th anniversary, so this track has been racing big events 3 years before this series even began. Villopoto, Dungey, and this rider in third, Chad Reed, looking to add their names to the record books here.
Jason, as rough as this track is at this moment, and as deep as these ruts are, and as, you know, physically demanding, you would think that they haven't prepped the track since then.
Woo.
But
this is a great battle right here. You got on this rough track, Weimer, Millsaps, Metcalfe, and Andrew Short, who just squeezed it past Metcalfe. Short on the 29 yards bike, trying to go around Millsaps.
You might have him here. No, Millsaps back around. This is a really tight section for these 450s to maneuver through.
And Short, who's on a 350 in the 450 class.
Maybe that's the difference there.
He was strong in that tight section for sure. Can he get Millsaps? He's going to go after him again. And this time, Short has positioned himself on the inside. And it works. He gets Millsaps.
I'm telling you, those braking bumps like there are so treacherous because you're coming down and you're on the throttle and then you have to get on the brakes and the bike starts to bottom out, and that's where all the chassis and suspension testing and having the best stuff really makes a difference, because you make one small mistake and you get the wrong bounce, you could just be off the track right there. There's just so much inertia.
Sorry to cut you off, but he's going after Millsaps. Millsaps made a little mistake, and Metcalfe makes the move. Now, this is the keys of the race for Medi, who was strong in Moto 1.
Yeah, it was one thing that I thought they really needed to do was get up to speed early. You know, he didn't finish out the moto quite like he started the moto, but is doing that. And whether he's been off the bike or not, and he's in, you know, that quote bike shape that I call it, it really doesn't matter. It's that, you know, he is physically fit. He trains as hard as anyone out there. So to trust that and believe that even though you've been off the bike, that you have what it takes to finish out both these motos.
Back to our leader, Ryan Villopoto, with Dungey trying to chase him down. Give you an idea of the gap here in just a minute. And it's not very much. In fact, Dungey has refired, and 10 minutes into this race has put another challenge to the number 2 on the inside. Big jump coming up here.
Well,
Dungey able to stay a little lower.
And look at how Ryan Dungey looks really confident. He's riding with ease. He doesn't look like he's riding out of his zone at all. Okay, so it looks like he's totally in control, and he believes that he's got the lines, the fitness, the speed, everything that it's going to take to get past the number 2.
Man, he's keeping the heat on him, and Chad Reed is right there in third. If these two take any time away from each other battling for the lead, Reed will be happy to take advantage. What a race.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do. When you see a guy kind of starting to back up on his heels a little bit, you know, you got to go for it. You got to get after it right now, and then that mentally, that takes its toll. Now, obviously, Ryan Villopoto has ridden in some of the most pressure-packed championship battles that I've ever witnessed. 2000 250 motocross comes to mind, him and Ben Townley, and he was able to withstand it. So let's see if he can counteract this big charge here that Dungey and Chad Reed are throwing on him right now.
You got to mention Reed. In fact, he might be the fastest rider of this trio. He has closed up a ton of room on Dungey in the last couple of corners, and Dungey's got to worry about him.
Well, and all 3 riders are basically running about a 2:16, and the next fastest is Wyndham at a 2:19. So the top 3 are 3 seconds a lap ahead of the rest of the field. They really have stepped it up.
Dungey still working some different lines. Look at him on the inside as Villopoto runs the outside. And Reed just sit back there watching it.
And it's right through this half of the course where I believe Dungey really has got the fast lines, especially as you come around the finish line first turn area where he got up close. to Villopoto last lap around. See how he's just apexing his turns? He's being very patient right now. He's not trying to blast the outsides or do anything crazy. He's just being very consistent and strong right now.
Big crowd out here at Hangtown got what they wanted to see. After the battle in Supercross the last couple of months, you knew that Villopoto, Dungey, and Reed would be flying here in motocross, and that's exactly what we've got. This is the section you like Dungey through here.
Let's see if he can hold the inside. No, he goes back to the outside, kind of squaring it up. See the riders zigzagging back and forth across the apex of the turns. Now the momentum for the number one.
Dungey on the outside. They swap spots from where they were 1 lap ago, and Villopoto grabs a handful of throttle and gets it back.
Villopoto just holds it on a little longer going into that turn. And if you're Villopoto and you're under this sort of pressure, you're trying to pressure the guy behind you from in front. So right then it was time to step it up.
Wow.
Really putting it on. Nice
How
move.
those guys are able to think of all that while they're pushing the pace like this. What a great race. Villopoto continues to lead. Dungey and Reed keeping the heat on. Oh, and Dungey and Chad Reed going after your leader, Ryan Villopoto. Great racing here at Hangtown. And somehow Villopoto has survived another charge. Dungey's got to be careful. The 22 of Reed is right behind him. Now Dungey to the inside. Dungey's going to try to set up Villopoto. I haven't seen anyone run inside where Dungey just went. Wasn't able to make the pass.
Trying to ride the short line, Jason. Let's see if he switches it up here to the inside. Dungey.
Can he make it happen? Completely different lines to this corner, side by side. Dungey overjumps on the outside, and Villopoto's going to beat him to the spot. Tremendous riding under pressure for Villopoto on the number 2. Dungey giving him everything he's got.
Chad Reed just lurking from behind, trying some new lines, just waiting for a mistake out of your 2 leaders.
Incredible battle here. Fans going crazy. You got to give credit for how the track has developed. They can go anywhere they want and stay side by side, challenge each other. Look at this battle.
Here we go. This is the section of the track. Dungey really has some lines where he can set Villopoto up, but Villopoto has held steady.
Will Dungey back it in this corner? This is where he made the pass for the lead on Wyndham in Moto 1. Villopoto has it covered. This next section, they've been side by side over this jump coming up the last 2 laps in a row. Here we go again. Dungey grabs the lead. Villopoto this time not able to respond, and Ryan Dungey has done it the hard way. He absorbed roost and rocks for 3 laps. Here comes Villopoto to try to return.
Wow,
No.
I am telling you, what a hot line. And I thought Dungey was going to try to cut down, but he continued that momentum around the second turn. And I'm telling you, his bike tracked through that section. The rear wheel never slipped out, and he was on the throttle the whole time. Made the pass stick, and now Villopoto has to worry about Chad Reed, number 22 here on this red Honda.
Now, Reed, by the way, in a press conference on Thursday, alluded to the fact that he and Villopoto are basically new to this tour. Villopoto didn't race it last year due to injury, and Reed was on a Kawasaki last year, so they are basically starting from scratch, whereas Dungey would have some notes to go back from last year. He could start with his championship-winning setup.
True.
He said that might give Dungey an advantage, but I'll tell you what, it worked out about exactly the same at this point in the moto.
I'll tell you, let's see just how deep Villopoto can dig right here and see if he can rebound from this, because this is the type of time when you start to lose your rhythm and mentally get a little bit frazzled, and all of a sudden you start hitting every bump on the track.
Whoa, Reed's getting close on the inside. Can he squeeze Villopoto? Yes. Chad Reed to the number 2 spot, and I guarantee you he's not done there. He wants to race Dungey. If Reed wins this moto, he wins the overall for the day. Villopoto would need to win and have Dungey finish 3rd. We'll worry about the math later. Let's just sit back and watch. This is tremendous racing between 3 of the fastest riders, really, that have ever contested for this championship. These guys have all won titles before at this level.
Wow, and the roost that they're having to take on from the bikes when you're getting close to the other riders and you're trying to zigzag through the lines and stay out of the roost, but at times you got to just man up and stay in it. I mean, that roost hurts so bad. Okay, practically can blow you off the back of the bike.
Reed did win this race last year. You see the graphic. While Dungey had a terrible race at Hangtown, struggled to even get into the top 5. He was kind of dealing with the jitters after just locking up a Supercross title a year ago. Seems like Villopoto's in the same situation today.
Well, what's interesting, though, about when you look at the history here is that Dungey won this championship last year. He ended the season on a high note. Chad Reed raced a Kawasaki at this event and won here last year, so Kawasaki would have notes and everything, all of the information from last season to use moving forward. But tell you what, just the effort that our two leaders are putting out right now, that was a really hefty 2 or 3 laps that they pressured Villopoto. Now you see that he's dropped off the pace just a little bit. He had a 2:20 last lap around. Reed and Dungey were both at a 2:16, so that was a 4-second loss for Villopoto.
Well, also we hear Villopoto a little under the weather coming into this one, dealing with a little bit of a cold or maybe even the flu, and maybe that's having an effect. But how about this? Reed coming after Dungey. He wants the lead. And if you're Dungey, you run down Ryan Villopoto to get the lead in the moto. You figure your work is done, but how about this? He's got an even faster rider to deal with right now. They've left Villopoto behind.
Well, look at the thousands of fans here. They're just, you know, on their tiptoes right now at the front of the fence, just cheering on their favorite rider.
Whoa, a little mistake by Dungey. Reed was able to see that.
Hey, this track, Jason, brutal right now.
Yeah.
They make it look easy, but it's so physically demanding. Look at the back of the Rockstar Kita Suzuki. They're bouncing out of the line, and your core strength, your legs, and upper body strength, your arms, your delts, everything have to be so physically fit and just have brute strength. Even though most motocross athletes are built more like the endurance athletes, like a bicycle rider or a runner for the most part, but incredibly strong in the package that they have.
Oh, Reed strong. He's on the inside. This is the line that Dungey likes to use to make passes, and now Reed is going to try to use it against him.
He's got it.
I think he does. Chad Reed has taken over the lead from Ryan Dungey. Incredible. Now Dungey, this is the section he likes. This is where he passed Villopoto a few laps ago. But Reed went to school back there. He knows exactly where Dungey wants to go, and he covers it.
Did you see that? How he landed off that big jump, and he did a wheelie tap through the braking bumps and kept his momentum, and it was very methodical how he got through that to keep his momentum into that turn.
Well, unbelievable. Chad Reed has come out here and passed Villopoto. He's passed Dungey. He's in the lead. Amazing ride for the Australian. Back-to-back car warriors at 8. When Itchy goes on a rampage, no one is safe from his temper. Then at 9, Rich has finally pushed his team to the brink of revolt. Car warriors Wednesday night, beginning at 8 Eastern, only on Speed. It's been a torrid battle in this second moto. Ryan Villopoto, Ryan Dungey, now Chad Reed leading the way. Amazing performance by Reed to come through that pack.
Yeah, you're looking at a motocross warrior at this point. I'm telling you, to be out there to maneuver this track and to do what they're doing, it's exceptional talent, dedication, all that. You see, here comes Villopoto, who had the lead early on, now has fallen off the pace by about 16 seconds. Reed just turned to 2:15.4 and Dungey at 2:18.4. So Reed still up to pace. Dungey, Villopoto are really starting to fall off.
But they do have a big gap over fourth place Kevin Windham. Then you saw the rest of the crew come through. You have Weimer, Metcalfe, Hahn, Millsaps, Short, Ricky Dietrich in the top 10. But this is an idea of the gap as we wait for the rest of the field to come through. There is, no, sorry, those are riders that are lapped down. Kyle Partridge on the 76. This Kawasaki is Weimer. That's your fifth place guy. So that gives you an idea of the gap as Metcalfe chases him. Yeah, that shows you how hard Reed is pushing up front. He's got a huge lead.
Yeah, and Reed's about 45 seconds ahead of Weimer and Metcalfe at this point. I mean, and that, we still have 8 minutes to go, so that's in 22 minutes. I mean, I didn't expect Chad Reed to be this good. I expected him to be great, all that sort of stuff. But this second moto, he has stepped up, showed some incredible heart and determination. It's pretty cool for a rider that at one time chose not to race the AMA Motocross Championship. 2009 decided, you know what, I'm going to give this thing a go. Came back and won the 450 title. Won races last year, went out with an illness, and now he's back in 2011. Wow.
Let's talk about these two as Metcalfe puts the pressure on Weimer. Talk about the keys of the race again for Metcalfe. Is he doing what he needs to do?
He was up to speed early, put some good laps in there, and got the start to put him in a good position here. And this is where he's really going to have to trust his fitness right here. He's going after Weimer.
And he's got this line. This is where Reed was
coming after Dungey, and I think Metcalfe has made it happen. Yes. Weimer's going to go to the outside, so he can't get him back.
And of all the factory stars that are out there, these two factory riders have had the least amount of time to prepare.
Weimer does come back on Metcalfe. He just waited to the next section. Gets it back. But yeah, good point, Jeff. Both these guys missed a lot of time in Supercross with injury. Are they racing their way back into shape?
There's no other way to do it. The race is here. No more time to prepare.
Okay, so that is your battle for 5th and 6th team. Weimer and Metcalfe just duking it out. Next battle is going to be a couple of Yamahas. It's the MotoConcepts Yamaha of Tommy Hahn and the Muscle Milk Toyota Yamaha Joe Gibbs Racing of the 18 Davi Millsaps. So that is 7th and 8th. Ricky Dietrich, guy used to race off-road, is switching to motocross, doing well. He's in 9th. Christian Craig rounds out the top 10, and no sign of Christophe Pourcel. We see he's in 15th place. And Pourcel, strong early in the first moto, but wasn't able to maintain that pace. Look at this battle between Hahn and Millsaps.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with both of these riders here today. They've put on strong rides, and still with a little less than 6 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Anybody in the top 5 or top 6 there starts to slip up or drop their lap time, these guys are going to be right there because they're still strong at this point of the moto.
Next rider on the list here, this is Ricky Dietrich. The guy raced off-road, you know, ISDE, Work Series, GNCC, Endurocross, you name it. But a couple of years ago when Ryan Villopoto was injured, he was a Kawasaki rider off-road, and Kawasaki said, we'll let you ride Villopoto's bike at motocross. He grabbed a couple of top 5 finishes, and ever since then, he has wanted to way back into this series. So he's picked up a ride with Valley Motorsports Yamaha, and he's going to see what he can do with a full season in motocross, and not bad, top 10.
He's their top rider right now.
A little bit further back, Christian Craig, great story here. The son of Mike Craig, who was a factory rider back in the 1990s. Second generation man, and Kyle Chisholm, who was injured through most of Supercross, is right behind him. So Craig is 10th, and Chisholm is 11th, and Chisholm is, that was a vicious crash he had back in Houston a few months ago. So good to see him battling for a top 10 after being out with injury. And what about this guy, Mike Brown, the 2001 125 champ. Aaron, let's talk about Brownie.
It's always good to see his smiling face back here, but Mike Brown said he's going to race probably 3 different races, all for the fact that he wants to keep that national number, the number 3. So he does have to score 25 points. Today is off to a good start.
Yeah, Brown 10 years ago won the 125 class, which is now the 250 class, and that's why he has that single-digit number as a past national champ. Hey, look who we found. The Australian Michael Byrne and the Frenchman Christophe Pourcel. So Pourcel, probably not where he wants to be today, but he is looking to make a move on Byrne, and he gets it done. Pourcel, I'm sure, would like to be battling up front with guys like Dungey and Villopoto, who he's battled in years past on a 250, but it's been a while since Pourcel's been out the racetrack.
Yeah, and I mean, he's going to have to adapt not only to the 450, but as everybody knows, the Yamaha 450 is quite a bit different machine than the other bikes that are out there, and so they say that it has a different feel, but guys like Nick Way have totally adapted to it on the Valley Motorsports Yamaha.
Yeah, you saw Way back in the 27. That's a great battle just outside of the top 10, but they're all chasing this guy, Chad Reed, leading the way late here at Hangtown.
I'd love to build birdhouses for the rest of my life. So
Speed's coverage of the Lucas Oil. Brian Dungey is not done. Chad Reed passed him. We thought he left him. We thought Chad Reed had this thing tucked away. But your defending series champ is back. Leads only about 2 seconds. He's coming.
Last lap around, he was just a couple tenths of a second faster than Reed, and you can see that he is really putting on the charge right now. And the tiny little mistakes right there that Reed made, the little huckabuck he had getting into that turn, is what's going to cost him. Hey, we have a minute and a half. They're probably going to make it around to the start-finish line about that same time. So it may be close that this is a 2 or 3 lap longer race here.
Hey, I'm just pumping up Huckabuck here. Okay, we're good. Now we got a race in our hands. Look at how much ground Dungey has made up. Now, Reed is one of the more consistent riders. Doesn't make massive mistakes out there. And as far as fitness goes, we saw these two battle right down to the wire several times in Supercross this year, including the last race 2 weeks ago in Vegas. Went right down to the last turn. So I don't know how you pick a favorite late with these two. They could both go the distance.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. But what's impressive is that Dungey has been able to regroup and say, okay, I'm not just going to, give this thing to Reed. We're going to race for it. This is for the overall. These guys are all over it right now. The crowd is really starting to get into it here. It's been a long but beautiful day here at Hangtown, and they're being treated to some spectacular motocross racing once again.
And they didn't make it. 22 seconds left on the clock, so the 2-lap board does not come out. We will have 3 laps to go in this race. There's basically an extra lap now for Dungey to try to make things happen on Reed. And look at the lap times. Jeff, tell us the story.
Yeah, Reed slowed down just a little bit. That was a 2:17.1, and Dungey a 2:16.6, so that's half a second that Dungey picked up on Chad Reed, and you can see it whenever they're in the same frame on your TV at home. That means we got some exciting racing coming your way.
It was a 2-horse race now. Villopoto ran a 2:24, 8 seconds slower than Dungey. He's going to just accept third today, but we don't know who is going to take the victory. It is close. Dungey coming after Reed. About 2 laps to go. It's crunch time here at Hangtown.
When it's time to get ready to ride.
Well, they've saved the best for last here at Hangtown. Chad Reed, Ryan Dungey, wheel to wheel with 2.5 laps to go here at the 43rd annual Rockstar Energy Drink Hangtown Classic.
And in an ever-changing track here at Hangtown, it's Ryan Dungey now that has found the hot lines, and he's been able to move around on the track, see where he can pick up some time as these riders are trying to navigate arguably one of the roughest, most physically demanding tracks that I've ever seen here, and it is testing their mental strength, their physical strength. It is just taking it to the limit here. You notice we've got 3 to go. We were so close to hitting the 2-lap board, but there was about 20 seconds left on the 30-minute clock, so it's extended it. So Dungey's got an extra lap.
Yep.
Reed's got an extra lap that he's got to withstand this pressure.
All right, 2-lap board is going to be out right here. Here's your finish line. 2 laps, a shootout. Dungey second, Reed in the lead. Now Reed's got to know what lines Dungey likes. He already caught him and passed him once, but as the track changed so much now, that Reed doesn't really know where to cover.
Well, and this is the point here where you really have to, for me, I would be talking to myself, it's basically just your thoughts, but you're going, I can do this, believe in yourself, okay, over this jump. Take a breath right here, release your hands, okay, now down the hill. Okay, focus on what's going on here. Clean through this turn. So all of those thoughts are rolling through your head, and the whole time you're going, you can do this. You've done the work. You've put in the training. Your bike's good enough. Every positive thing that you can think of to run through your mind, that's what you do. You don't want the gremlins to come in and go, oh, my hands are hurting, my shoulders are tired. That's the type of stuff that you try to ward off, and that's all the mental game that you play with yourself and where mental strength comes into play.
Well, it sounds to me, Jeff, that Reed's goal is to not think about where Dungey is. Don't think about the line. Just, as they say, ride your own race.
Yeah, and look what he's done here. Dungey made a couple of little mistakes. We heard the crowd go wild there. Might have slipped around in one of those turns, but a little bit of breathing room. But right here, it's all about, okay, hold the throttle on, get on the brakes, right here. Okay, take a breath, downshift, whatever the case is. And this is why these guys are the best in the world. There's no doubt about it. But
look at that, quadding that section. 4 jumps in 1.
Yeah, Jason, the thing that I'm so proud of Chad Reed is that, like I mentioned earlier, at one time he raced motocross. He had to get raced against Carmichael, and all his success was not there for him. He gave it another shot, and now he is finding success in AMA Motocross. And what that does with the fans, I mean, these are the hardcore motocross fans. And when you ride this championship, they absolutely love you. And now he's out front on his way to winning another overall at Hangtown 2 years in a row.
Well, yeah, it sure looks like he is shaking off this offensive by Dungey. He's pulled back away. Very impressive. Last year when Reed won this race, I thought his performance here last year was better than any ride he had even in 09 when he won the championship. Maybe it was the best outdoor performance we'd ever seen from Chad Reed. We'll show you the highlights. Started out with a good start and basically just dominated this first moto where there was a lot of competition, a lot of talk about who was going to be the man. He established himself early.
Yeah, riding the Monster Energy Kawasaki, everything was good. Everything was on schedule here, but unfortunately the rest of the series, it didn't go that same way as it continued on. But what a way to pick up TwoTwo Motorsports. They're not even supposed to be here.
No. We'll tell this story again. Reed was on the verge of retirement in the offseason. Could not get a ride on any of the established factory teams. Decided to dig into his own pocket, start a team. The sponsors eventually came, but I'll tell you what, the only reason Reed is out here is because he wants to be out here. He's not doing it for the dough anymore. That's the old days.
Well, baby needs a new pair of shoes, right? Tate's getting bigger. It ain't going to be any cheaper. But
he's got plenty of
like
that.
I said, it's his attitude. And he had people that believed in him. You've got Bellray that came on board, Shift, Fox, you know, Pro Circuit has been helping him out all the way through this. And sponsors like Alpine Star that have stuck with him through this whole thing. And all of a sudden, you've got a veteran. And I can relate to it from when I started my own team at the end of my career. It was a shift. It was a shift in your attitude, and attitude is everything, right?
Right.
And right now, Chad Reed has got the right attitude, and the fans absolutely love it.
Well, we asked Reed a couple of days ago, with finances being tight, you're the boss of yourself. You don't have to go put yourself through this. You might not even make any money doing it. And he said, I'm here because I enjoy it. I like the people I'm working with. It's fun. And I think you're right. When you're having a good time like this, you ride well.
Now he's taking a look back 2 or 3 times just to make sure, wait a second, where is Dungey at? Because he was breathing down my neck. Now, where's he at? So he felt comfortable enough and was, you know, his awareness for his surroundings, knew that he wasn't right behind him. But let me figure out just what's happened to him. What a moment, though, for TwoTwo Motorsports.
Unbelievable.
Once again, like I said, what a crew they put together.
Yeah, and like I was getting at was I thought his performance last year at Hangtown was better than anything we saw in his championship year in 09, and I think you could argue this ride is even better than that because he came through Villopoto, he came through Dungey. This is the old finish line jump. Got to stay in the gas a little bit here, Chad. Here's his mechanic, Lars. I think that says it all. This guy is doing it, heart and soul.
This ain't going to be a fast lap time, but it doesn't matter because he's your winner.
Chad Reed wins Hangtown for the 2nd year in a row. This year doing it on his own terms and beating the best of the best. He takes down Villopoto. He takes down Dungey, who finishes 2nd. What a ride for the 2-2.
Hey, I'm telling you, still a great ride for Dungey. A 1-2 on the day. We have a tie for the points lead in AMA Motocross to start the championship.
Now, a little bit subpar based on the fact that he's won so many races outdoors before and is your new Supercross champion, Ryan Villopoto. However, it's a work in progress. And remember, Ryan Dungey was much worse than this last year at Hangtown and came on to win the championship. So you can start off with 3-3 and easily come back and win the title.
Hey, still for Villopoto, this is a solid foundation. If anybody knew the amount of media obligations and everything that would have came his way the last couple weeks, I mean, he's got to just be exhausted coming into this event.
Yeah, and a little bit sick as well. Solid points for Villopoto. He will take 3rd, but Chad Reed is the man today at Hangtown, and we will talk to him on the podium next. Chad Reed has conquered Hangtown, and he's on the podium celebrating. Meanwhile, we'll give you the Lucas Oil race recap and show you exactly how we won this race. Ryan Villopoto starts it out the right way.
Yeah, he starts out with the whole shot, but look at the 22 of Reed and the number 1 of Ryan Dungey, reigning champion. They were really getting after it, but it was Villopoto that would steal the lead early and lead a majority of this race.
That was unbelievable. That was lap 1 with Villopoto, Dungey, and Reed going at it. A few laps later, Dungey is back on the rear wheel of Villopoto, makes a move over this big jump.
Same move 2 laps in a row. He tried it the lap before, couldn't make it stick, but made it happen then.
And then Reed, who is sitting back there watching that battle, he decided to launch an attack, an even greater one, and Dungey couldn't hold it back. Reed takes the lead. Dungey stayed close to the end. But yeah, indeed, Chad Reed was a bad dude. He wins the 2nd moto. We'll give you the results. And with that 2nd moto win, it's going to be enough for Chad Reed to win the overall in the day. Here are the results from the race we just finished. Moto 2, Reed, Dungey, Villopoto, 1, 2, 3. Nice job by Wyndham to hold on for 4th. Metcalfe top 5, Weimer, Millsaps, Hahn, Dietrich, and Christian Craig. Nice ride, rounds out the top 10. Let's go down to Aaron.
Chad Reed smiling ear to ear, taking in the moment. The fans are loving it. Chad, what a dominating performance it was for you today. But today, take us through physically and mentally. How challenging was this one today?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it dominating, but man, I had so much fun out there. I was just trying to find a good rhythm, and honestly, the last time I was good outdoors, I had this feeling, and I'm so excited. I want to thank American Honda just for stepping up, giving me this factory bike, and man, I'm going to ride this thing. So I'm going to ride the wheels off this thing and try win a championship, try win races. And if we fail at all that, I just want to have a damn good time, and I just want to thank everybody at TwoTwo Motorsports, Prairie, Pro Circuit, Dunlop, man, Fox, Shift, everybody at home, Mom, Dad, and my little guy, and Ellie. Just miss them a lot. Can't wait to go back to Florida.
Congratulations, Chad Reed, 2 years in a row.
Let's give you the upcoming schedule, the Toyota schedule for this series. And we're racing hot and heavy after this. We'll be, speaking of heat, in Texas next week. Speed will cover that May 28th at 10 p.m. Eastern. Next is Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, just outside of Pittsburgh. That'll be covered on NBC on June 12th. Then it's Budds Creek in Mechanicsville, Maryland on Speed. And we'll be a mile high up at Lakewood, Colorado, outside of Denver on June 25th. That's your Toyota moving forward schedule. Chad Reed has won. Lots of fans greeting him at the podium. And we'll talk to some more riders up on that stage when we come back.
Speed is home to the...
Well, before we went to break, we showed you the results of Moto 2, which you just completed, but you have to take the results from Moto 1 to determine an overall. We're going to show you the results here of how this race turned out at Hangtown. Lots of fans are going to remember that. They probably don't even need us to tell them what happened. They're going to remember every single section of what was a great race out here today. Massive crowd and perfect weather for racing. Here are your results here in this second moto. Reed, Dungey, Villopoto. And guys like Jake Weimer have to be happy. A nice rebound after a tough Moto 1. He was 21st. He comes back for 6th in Moto 2. Brett Metcalfe was solid.
I'll tell you who's going to be happy. That's Team Honda. This is their first overall here since 2004.
Wow. All right, let's go back down to Aaron with Ryan Dungey.
Ryan Dungey is another guy that's definitely happy with the overall for today. Ryan, coming into today, you said you didn't really know what to expect. Do you consider leaving here? You've now gauged your speed, and what do you work on from this point?
You know, I know the bike that coming into this race was really good. My fitness level felt awesome. So, you know, I was just going to try carrying the momentum off of last year, you know. But that second moto there got really rough. You know, there seemed like there was a lot of lines, and once Chad got by me, he was riding really creative and had some good smooth lines. So definitely helps. You know, not as much energy, but I was able to pick up a little bit and just kind of died off there on the end. But I felt great. I'm really happy. Thank the Rockstar. Team Rockstar Makita Suzuki, and it was a great day. You know, we can build a lot from this and just keep moving forward.
Way to kick off the season and make your way up to the podium.
Fuel your passion for motorcycle racing with Speed Motorcycle Text Alerts powered by Yamaha. Get the latest moto racing results and breaking news as they become available. Sent right to your phone. Text MOTO to Speed 3 for the alerts right now. Go back down to the podium with third place. Aaron?
Ryan Villopoto is actually coughing as we speak. Ryan, I don't know if I even need to ask this question, but you did sort of fall off the pace after having the whole shot. Are you still battling the flu, and are you 100%?
You know, just you know, I'm just out here getting through Hangtown. Not gonna make no excuses, but you know, I feel pretty good now. But during the week, you know, I was pretty sick. But you know, it's you know what? I don't think it wasn't nothing of that. You know, I just can't thank everybody at Monster Kawasaki, Thor, Parts Unlimited, Volcom, Oakley, Falcon, Vans, Alpha-Stars, Dunlop. You know, everybody's done their job, and I didn't today. So hopefully next week we'll do a better job.
All right, either way, good to see Villopoto finally back riding in this series after 2 straight years missing it with injury. What do you think, Jeff? Villopoto can go home? Is he still have something to be excited about, even though he only got third?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we still have 11 more races.
Yeah.
2 motos each race. There's so much racing to go. But Dungey here on your left and Chad Reed on your right, they have to be really happy about the efforts they put in. Even though Dungey was second, they split motos, and they really dominated the day. It's nice to see these guys chatting it up, too.
Talking about the different lines on the track, and hopefully we'll see more great races like that. Got to stick with us all season long. We'll have a 450 class of Moto 2 at our next race in Texas, the Freestone National. That'll be next Saturday, May 28th at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific. And don't forget, we also have a 250 class that we cover on Speed as well. So great coverage all year long of this Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. And as we like to say, if round 1 is any indication of what the rest of the series is going to be like, you're not going to want to miss a race. So for Jeff Emig and Aaron Bates, I'm Jason Wygant. Big thanks to you for checking out the action today from Northern California. Hope you can stick with us all year long. Huge congratulations to Chad Reed, your overall winner at the season opener at Hangtown. Yeah, he's a bad dude indeed.
250 class is wide open as the 40th season of AMA Motocross begins. Defending race winner Eli Tomac returns to the site of his first taste of pro glory. Honda's Justin Barcia and Kawasaki's Brock Tickle come into the campaign fresh off of Supercross titles earned just 2 weeks ago in Las Vegas. Scotland's Dean Wilson, France's Marvin Musquin, and South African star Tyler Rattray have come across the pond to challenge for the AMA title. The world's fastest motocross riders take to the start line as AMA Motocross returns to speed. We're in Northern California for the opening round of the 2011 Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. It's the 43rd running of the Rockstar Energy Drink Hangtown Classic. Hello, we welcome you speed fans to Northern California's Hangtown Motocross. Jason Wygant joined by four-time AMA National Champion Jeff Emig. And this 250 class, it is wide open. And we'll give you an idea as we look at some of the big picture storylines we're going to follow this year. New challengers are going to emerge this year because the two riders that battled for last year's championship, Christophe Pourcel and Trey Canard, have moved up to the 450 division. And if you want to pick two contenders from that group of challengers, you got to look at Justin Barcia and Brock Tickle, who just wrapped up Supercross championships 2 weeks ago in Las Vegas. They have some confidence, they have some momentum. But don't forget the fast Frenchman, Marvin Musquin, moving and racing in the United States for the first time. Starting today, he won 2 championships in the Grand Prix Tour in Europe the last 2 seasons. So Jeff, we open it up to you with this class, this many riders, this many young riders that are really exciting to watch. It's going to be a great season.
Well, it certainly is, and it's the age of these riders and the lack of, pro experience to a certain extent. There's just so much excitement here out of these riders. They're not afraid to bang bars, and as we get into the 24 moto, 12 race season, physical fitness, mental strength, desire, determination, all comes into play. And let's not forget last season where this championship really did come down to the final race. So it's going to be a long, hot summer. We'll see what these guys can do.
Well, we're obviously excited about how great this year is going to be, but we're not the only ones that are pumped up. Of course, the riders have to deal with the nerves and the jitters of racing here on opening day, and we had a chance to talk to a few of them about that.
A split second before the gate drops, your nerves are crazy. But then once the gate drops, it's all gone. It's just race mode, and everybody's trying to get to that first corner first.
Definitely have some butterflies. You're not sure where you're at, if you're gonna be in first or you're gonna be in the back of the pack, but usually you're on the start line saying, let's do it, I'm gonna win this thing, and just go out there and try to do your best.
I think every racer will be nervous. If you're not nervous, then there's a problem. I try not to be nervous, even though when you try not to be nervous, you usually get a little more nervous. So yeah, that's kind of weird. I put more pressure on myself when I'm on the start to really get out of the gate good and make sure I do a perfect start. And obviously that helps a lot.
Yeah, well, these guys look relaxed in the line. There's no doubt they're nervous. Plus, they have to worry about this really, really difficult racetrack they have to race on today at Hangtown, and we'll give you an idea what it looks like from the rider's perspective with our GoPro lap. It's amazing how rough this place has gotten throughout the day. So we'll show you what it looks like from the rider's perspective, but the only one that truly understands is Jeff. You've ridden at this level.
No doubt. Here we're on board. I believe this is Ryan Villopoto, and you can see these sections, just how rutted the track is. And this is early in the day. This is in qualifying practice as they come through, and you can see how the riders bouncing around, hit these really deep, soft braking bumps. And the track right now, guys, is smooth.
Yeah, it's a lot worse now.
In the video. Okay, the thing about this track is that it's really hard clay underneath. Up hills, down hills, gets really rutted. But they've also added what's called rice holes. It's kind of like sand, but it's made of rice, so it kind of has the effect of sand, but it's a little different. Holds the moisture, keeps the dust down. Up hills, down hills, extremely treacherous, fast. And as we make our way through the last quarter of the track already, I can tell you, this is the final moto of the day. This track is beat up. It is going to test the rider's physical fitness. It's going to test their mental strength, everything here, the second moto. It's going to be a really tough moto here.
And the first moto was pretty darn tough as well. Let's take you through it off the start. No surprise who's out front early on this one. Eli Tomac grabs the whole shot, but a big crash in the center of the pack.
Yeah, that's Ryan Villopoto here, one of the Yamaha favorites there right in the middle of your screen on the blue bike that went down.
This is Dean Wilson making moves for second over Malcolm Stewart, who had a good start to his first ever pro race. And Wilson kept charging and went after Tomac for the lead.
And watch this move here as he goes around the outside of Tomac. Just really showed some speed right here and just was perfect.
But here was the guy we were talking about at the end. The 57, Blake Baggett, crashed back to 10th. Then he starts making moves. He passes Marvin Musquian. Then he gets to the inside of Justin Barcia, makes another pass. Not done yet. Goes after Darren Durham, who is running in a podium position. Makes the move on Durham. Then Durham, battling it out with Musquian just out of the podium position, goes down.
Yeah, he gets into a lap rider there as he was trying to go to the inside, and that's going to put him back in the pack after just a fantastic moto.
And incredibly late in the race, Baggett catches Tomac from nearly 15 seconds back to move into the number 2 spot. But there was no catching Dean Wilson, who took advantage of that good start, grabbed the lead, and held on to win the first moto of the year. So, a couple stories to talk about. The big moto victory for Wilson, but the last 2 laps of the moto for Baggett were faster than anyone else's laps at any point in the race. To do it at the end of the moto, that's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, literally the last 5 laps, they just kept getting faster, it seemed like. So Baggett is definitely my favorite for this moto. Let's see if he can continue on with that momentum.
I think Tomac, no, I think it's Barcia actually going to get the wheels out front. The 2 Honda riders, it is the 17 of Barcia. 28, Tyler Rattray second, Cole Stealing third, and a rider down to the outside, going to take some down with him, in fact.
Well, Weege, I tell you, if I'm Justin Barcia, this is exactly what I need to get. Uh-oh, that's Musquian down.
The Frenchman, who was a solid 4th in Moto 1, he got tangled up, and he's got to come from last. Try to show you what happened here.
Let's take a look here. This is corner number 2 at the bottom of your screen here. Oh, it was the top of your screen, the left. Two or three riders down. The 61's down.
Davalos
so look
also
for the orange bike on the right side of your screen. Here he comes in, goes wide, and Marvin actually loses it in this loose soil down in here. Just pushes the front end out. Swallows up Davalos with him.
Austin Howell there in the 61. Wow. So he's got his work cut out for him, but how about Bam Bam Barcia? And that's classic Barcia style. All over the bike, revving the engine, all the way to the rev limiter, and also in the lead. That's where you want to be.
Well, Barcia really was just in the middle of everything last moto. Wasn't really able to ride his own race, let's say. But right now, he has the opportunity to go execute the perfect moto. Baggett was back around 6th, I believe. Not sure where Wilson was at this point, but your favorites right up front there once again. And I'm telling you, this track, it is so rough. And the square edge is right there. Barcia already gets a kick. I mean, there's bumps all the way around the track. Only maybe some of these jump faces is the only place that it's even smooth.
And right around the outside there is Baggett, the 57, who we were, of course, talking about from the first moto. He is up to 4th. And pressure being applied. He's got Wilson right behind him, Tomac right in front of him. So we got a battle going on right now. And the rider in 3rd, that's Gareth Swanepoel out of South Africa in his first full season racing in the U.S. Not too shabby. He was top 10 in Moto 1, and he is 3rd early in Moto 2.
Yeah, he's on that DNA Shred Sticks Yamaha team, which is in 2011. This team has really came to life, and they have some veterans of the sport that are really getting up there, mixing it up with the dominance of Factory Connection and Pro Circuit, who really have dominated the 250 class.
We'll talk about mixing it up. Wilson makes the move on Baggett. So Wilson into 4th, and Baggett, he didn't look like he's happy about that. He wants to pass the 15 and move back into 4th.
Wow, there's still 27 minutes plus 2 laps in this moto. And look at the roost coming off the back of the bikes. Look at how the bikes are jumping around. There's dust coming up. There's mud flying your way, rocks.
Hard to even keep up with the action out here. This 250 class is known for this. Young riders, to give you an idea, Baggett and Wilson only turned pro last year. So this is only their 2nd year as professionals. And they are some of the fastest men in the group. So that's what makes this class so exciting to watch. You got kids who definitely know how to go fast. And sometimes they ride even a little bit over their heads trying to make passes. So these opening laps when they're all close like this are usually pretty exciting. Swanepoel holding his own. Now, he is not one of the kids. He's a veteran, raced in Europe for years and years, wanted to take a crack at racing the U.S. Going well, but not Wilson. How did Wilson hold on? The foot was off the peg, and he almost made the pass anyway.
Nobody does a knack-knack through the whoop section. Come on, these young riders, they're so cocky. They think they can do anything.
Okay.
Right?
It's one way to put it.
That was so close. He caught the rut with his right foot, and it kicked his right foot all the way over the rear fender. That was crazy.
And Baggett sticking right with him. He got to see that right in front. So they're going for it right now. You got Barcia in the lead, Rattray, Tomac second and third. It's your battle for fourth. On again, Swanepoel, Wilson, and Baggett. Then it's Seeley, Durham, Kyle Cunningham, and Brock Tickle rounding out the top 10.
Swanepoel putting in a strong ride here. I mean, he's gotten the Moto 1 winner breathing down his neck right now, but he's just been solid through all of his lines, not making any mistakes, not giving Wilson an inch here.
But like we said, he's a veteran.
Here we go.
He's not going to crack under pressure, but he just might not be fast enough to hold Wilson back. Not in that section, at least. Dean Wilson moves up a spot. He is now fourth behind Tomac, Rattray, and Barcia.
Well, I'm going to give you guys, now that we finally have a lap time in the books here, Justin Barcia, 2:19, Rattray, Tomac, Wilson, and it was Swanepoel that finally kicked up to a 2:21, and Baggett at 2:20. And we know Baggett can turn some much faster lap times on this track, whether it's rough or not.
So Justin Barcia leads early, but lots of competition. I mean, you got to imagine this is just the calm before the storm. Justin Barcia out front, but Jeff Emmett, you've been commenting, he's made some mistakes, he's hitting some bumps. It's not going to be easy for him to hold this lead, especially not with strong riders like Rattray and Tomac right behind.
Yeah, but this is how Justin Barcia has earned the comparisons between himself and the great Bob Hanna, is that, okay, the bike's jumping around, that's okay, as long as the throttle,
oh! Well, he went completely opposite direction there, went over the front. So normally he shows up those mistakes. What do we got here?
And notice right here, notice on his left foot peg, he's got a bunch of hay from that hay bale, so it looks like when he got into that inside rut that he stuck the chassis, the lower part of the chassis in the foot peg, and that's what stopped the motorcycle. Let's take another look at it. Watch as he comes down this hill right here with the lead, and this is a really difficult bumpy section. There's a right and then a left. Let's see how he drops in. Yeah, he got a little bit too far to this hay bale that's over, a little too far to his left. Watch, he kind of lifts up his left foot.
Well, we were just saying he's able to absorb all those mistakes, but not quite in that situation. Hay bale's going to stop you no matter who you are.
Still, you got to give him a good score for that handstand.
Yeah, it was really good dismount. We still get the battling Monster Pro Kawasaki riders. That's Wilson on the 15, Baggett on the 57. Dale and Harrod a spot now that Barcia's down. And while they duke it out, you can see Tomac and Rattray not too far out in front of them. So the top four are close.
Well, and once again, just like in Moto 2, as this Moto wears on, Moto 1, Baggett seems to have found a comfort zone, and he seems to be looking around, trying to find some lines. And it looks like he's if he can find a line to pull up next to his teammate Wilson here, he's going to make the pass.
Only 10 minutes into this moto, so lots of racing yet to come. Maybe a little too early to talk about overall right now. Wilson did win the first race earlier today. Baggett was second, Tomac is third. And they're almost in the reverse order of that so far in this one. But you got a feeling that there's going to be some passes, there's going to be some action before the checkered flag comes out in this one. What does Baggett seem to find in the second half of these races? Track starts coming around for him.
Yeah, and I mean, Wilson, he's got to keep pressing all the way here because these points are going to get shuffled around. And for the overall, in the scope of the series, you're looking at 24 motos. Okay, so it's, but when it comes to the record books, the overalls count. And we mark those and we count those, and the riders get bonuses for getting the overall. Yeah, so there really is incentive, even though points-wise you're scored separately each moto. There's no points for actually earning the overall, other than that you had the most points, right?
Yeah, you certainly want to have the most points, but that doesn't pay extra money. What pays is getting the wins. The points only matter at the end of the year. Let's check in with our leader, Tyler Rattray. out of South Africa, with Eli Tomac, Colorado kid, right behind him. Rattray, very consistent, very strong. And a lot of people think in the long haul, 24 races, that he might be the one you can count on to be consistent. You don't know what you're going to get out of the kids that'll be racing him all year. Rattray's going to be there, no doubt.
Well, and it's great to see a rider from South Africa. Swanepoel also. You got Dean Wilson from Scotland. You got Muscan from France.
Yeah.
Clark from England. I mean, the top talent in the world. This is where they come to race during the summer.
And by the way, Muscan, who was down in the first turn, basically dead last, only 10 minutes completed in this moto, and he's already up to 17. So he's going to score some championship points for sure.
Which, with the rides that he had the first moto, combined with if he continues on to climb up the leaderboard in Moto 2 here, would be a candidate for the Ricky Carmichael
Hard Charger award. Yeah, which is a rider who makes the most passes. And he's made 23 passes already. And Rattray, the leader. Aaron, what do you have on the number 28?
Well, guys, when I spoke with Tyler earlier this afternoon, he said this is the one track that he doesn't seem to vibe with, but something tells me as of right now he's had an attitude adjustment. He said he was working extremely hard, solely on testing for the outdoors, and especially speed right out of the gate. So obviously off to a good start for Tyler, and he is, well, excited about a fresh season because he is 100% healthy coming in.
And we got a battle for second now. Wilson leaning on Tomac. He got the spot for just a moment, and then Tomac gets it back. Rematch of the battle for the lead in Moto 1. It's now a battle for second in Moto 2. Tomac able to fight back.
Well, this is a tough position to be in because the guy behind just breathing down your neck, and Tomac briefly lost the spot right there. Here comes Wilson way around the outside, and he's got the inside line.
That is not an easy pass to make around the outside to get to the inside, but Wilson, well, maybe he was sick of hearing his teammate Baggett buzzing around behind him and says, I need a buffer here. Well, put the number 19 there.
Yeah, and what's so cool about Wilson, well, let's take a look at the Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com keys to the race here. Learn from the first moto. I think that Tomac got to start. Seemed like his bike set up and everything was good. But right now, he's going to have to regroup. And at the same race last year, he did regroup and came back to win after it looked like the overall had gone away. Right now, he's really got to talk himself through this. You got to believe in your program, your fitness, everything, and be mentally tough and believe that you can win this thing because it's not over. There's still 17 minutes plus 2 laps to go.
Losing a little bit of ground to Wilson. He has Baggett to deal with, which should soon be a race for third, while Tyler Rattray continues to lead. So you got 3 Kawasaki battling 1 Honda. Gareth Swanepoel still fifth.
Some of the biggest motorsports events of the year.
Warriors at 8, Itchy goes on a rampage, and no one is safe from his temper. Then at 9, Rich has finally pushed his team to the brink of revolt. Check out Car Warriors Wednesday night, beginning at 8 Eastern only on Speed. Battle shaping up for the lead. It's Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship Racing, Rockstar Energy Drink, Hangtown Classic, and what a classic battle is shaping up here. Tyler Rattray versus Dean Wilson for the number 1 spot.
Yeah, but if you're Mitch Payton and you got your Pro Circuit team, you've got 1, 2, 3 are all of your riders.
Wow. I've had a change for our folks that watching on Speed for the number 3 spot. Blake Baggett able to make the move on Eli Tomac. Show us how it happened, Jeff.
Same exact spot on the track the lap before where Dean Wilson gets by Tomac. He just powers around the outside, which becomes the inside. Nice move. And once again, just like in Moto 1, late in the moto, Blake Baggett is on the move.
And there's not a very big gap even back to him. As we race toward the finish line area, we can give you the latest as far as the splits. There's the 28. You can visually see the gap between he and Wilson, but there was just a hint of green fender of Baggett not too far behind. 3.3 seconds, that's the difference between your leader and your third place rider, all of them on the exact same motorcycle. So it's rider versus rider at this point.
Yeah, and just to remind you, the top 5 for Moto 1 was Wilson, Baggett, Tomac, Muscan, and Rattray was 5th. Okay, so that 5th is really going to hurt him as far as the overall. Still continues to lead this moto. And the overall really is between Tomac, Baggett, and Wilson. And at this point, Wilson's got it in the bag. But still, 13 minutes plus 2 laps.
Yeah, with all the action we've seen in this moto, you would think that we're headed down to the finish, but we're only just past halfway.
But the way that the points would work out, if Baggett moved up to seconds, let's say, that second's not going to be enough for him to win the overall.
Progressive whole shot replay, Jeff, take us through this one.
The Geico Honda, Justin Barcia was out front. Most riders got through clean, but watch the orange fender and the bike goes down. That's the reigning world champion, Marvin Musquin. Down, and he's up to 12 now as we watch the battle for the lead, all the way up to 12.
In just over half the race, he has passed 28 riders. So you're not going to see him probably on the podium today, top 3 overall or anything like that. But the points he is earning, salvaging, I should say, could loom large later in the year. But right now, we'll focus back on the leaders. Tyler Rattray, Dean Wilson, Blake Baggett. And as Aaron Bates told us earlier, this has been a track that has not brought much success for Tyler Rattray. But obviously what he's learned here the last 2 years, put those notes to work, figured out the problem, leading them around this time.
Well, and as you look at 57 here, Blake Baggett, he needs to win this moto to win the overall, because you get that extra points gap. There's a 3 points gap between first and second. It goes 25, 22, 20, 18, 16, right? And that's the incentive to actually win the moto and just not to be consistent. And Wilson has got that on his side right now, that even if he gave up the position, it still wouldn't be enough.
You know, I almost feel like he heard you saying that, because it looks like the 57 is starting to get a move on here and realizes, I got to go after Wilson. I got to win this moto to win the overall for the day. And lo and behold, here he comes again. He ran at 2:17. Rattray and Wilson ran 2:18 lap time. So Baggett's the fastest rider on the track.
Here he goes, and look at the line choice that he's had. He has just been spectacular today, trying the same move on his teammate.
Yeah.
Got to get on the binders.
I showed you that move. Don't use my move on myself. That's where they both passed Tomac. And Baggett figured it out by seeing Wilson do it.
Baggett riding the long way around here. Getting into the markers there a little bit, but look how he's able to get into those inside ruts. Just so proud of this second-year rider here, Blake Baggett, for the ride that he's put in today.
You know, Baggett, it was really funny. He only raced 3 rounds last year, then he broke his arm. His upper arm, by the way, if you want to think about how painful that injury would be. And I was talking to him a couple weeks ago, and he joked around. He said, no, I was all good last year. I lost fewer races than anyone else in the series.
Yeah,
I only lost 3 races.
Attitude is everything, and that's, I believe that's called the humerus, right?
Well, it was pretty funny what he said, yeah.
Nothing humorous about
Nothing humorous about a broken humerus. So Baggett, we thought he was putting in the charge, but it looks like Wilson put his pace back up, and now he pulls back away from Baggett. This is going to be really interesting down to the closing moments.
For 125 years, Sunoco's been propelling people forward to their destinations.
This battle continues to rage for second place at the Rockstar Energy Drink Hangtown Classic. The number 15, Dean Wilson. The number 57, Blake Baggett. They are in second and third place. Or will it soon swap? Baggett's going to try this outside line again, Jeff Emig.
Let's see, he's got him. Oh, Wilson goes down!
And he's in a bad spot. His bike is basically going to be upside down. Oh, he got lucky. He could have easily had that machine tumble to the bottom of the hill.
Fourth place is Eli Tomac. They had a good 15 seconds over the number 19 on the Honda of Eli Tomac. So let's see if it looks like he's going to retain third place here.
I'd say the only question is, can he get his pace back to where it was? Sometimes when you have a crash like that, it's difficult to find your rhythm again.
Yeah, and you never know if when he hit that hay bale, if he bent the shifter, the clutch lever, or anything like that.
Well, let's take another look here, Jeff. You can take us through. We were focused on Baggett on the outside.
Well, and that's because the pressure was on, okay? And then Dean's trying to stay on the throttle, and he just gets his weight a little far to the left.
Oh.
Gets into one of the cameramen there even.
And like I said, that's a pretty big drop off. The TV cameras don't exactly show you how bad that is. But luckily the bike got stuck on that hay bale.
Yeah, he was really fortunate that the bike didn't tumble on down the hill, but he was holding strong. The battle was on, and now Blake Baggett's putting the pressure on.
Well, the battle's on. The calculators are out because we got to figure out the overall. If it ends like this, Wilson I believe would still win the overall with a first and a third. That would be one spot better than the second that Baggett would have. But 7 minutes, 10 seconds, and 2 laps left for Baggett to try to steal the lead from Rattray. If he does that, he'll win this race. So it's really down to these two. However, if you want to pick one guy that's going to be hard to pass in the latter stretches of a moto, it's Tyler Rattray. This guy is strong. Yeah, exactly. So what's going to happen? We don't know. You just got to keep on watching. Speed's coverage of the loop. Tyler Rattray under pressure from the 57. Blake Baggett, kid out of California, going after a veteran out of South Africa. This is exactly the way Baggett did in the first moto earlier today. Late in the race, he's finding something extra. On the inside, here we go. He still wanted to take that outside line through that section, so there wasn't enough room to make the pass.
Hey, Rattray's being stingy with this moto win. He doesn't want to give it up. And think about it, this is 25 points for the win towards the championship, whether he's got the overall or not. It is secondary. But I tell you, Rattray, he's riding a solid line. He's not making any mistakes. He's just really making Baggett earn it at this point.
We talk about earning. Baggett rode for Kawasaki and Pro Circuit as an amateur. But when he graduated from the amateur ranks, basically only had one spot open, and they gave that spot to Dean Wilson. And those two were actually rivals as amateurs. Baggett wasn't happy about it. He rode Suzuki's last year. And then after a pretty solid season, at least early outdoors, Mitch Payton called him up and said, sorry about that. We got room for you now. We'll have both you and Wilson race for us. And he is making good in second, going after Rattray. If he wins this moto, he wins the overall. If not, Wilson might still edge him for the overall of the day. But let's just focus on this race right now. Rattray against Baggett for the second moto win.
I mean, two totally different individuals. I mean, Rattray, he has a child, you know, has ridden on the world stage, Grand Prix motocross and all that. And Baggett is a product of the American amateur motocross system.
Baggett tries to make the move on the inside. Can't make it happen. As we said before, right now he has 2 second-place finishes, so Wilson, who would have a first and a third, would win the race for the day. If Baggett can make the pass on Rattray, he will not only win the moto, he will be your overall winner in 2 motos. That's how it works in motocross.
What's interesting, Jason, here is that Baggett made a couple of big mistakes last lap around and really seemed to have no problem getting back on the rear tire of Rattray. It just, at any time, see right through there, he kind of went off the track last lap, but you see this time, threads the needle, and he might have some momentum to go around the outside or possibly square him up coming back down the hill.
He's going to try to run that outside. Now he switches back. Rattray, this is a tremendous amount of pressure that he is dealing with everywhere he goes. Baggett has shown him a wheel, shown him a fender. He just doesn't care. Here we go. Handful of throttle. And Baggett was close a lap ago, and this time he makes it stick.
Wow. Just threaded the needle between the lapper. He set that up. He visualized it. He's been planning that this whole race. You start to feel where your lines are. He set that up the turn before.
Unbelievable charge by Blake Baggett. We talked at the beginning of the day about how deep the field was, what competition we had in this class, but the laps he has put in late in Moto 1, late in Moto 2, he has made a statement.
I mean, this is a second-year rider that this is his 4th AMA Motocross.
He got a few in, remember, after his amateur days in 09, but yeah, basically coming in with a full series ready to go. Yeah. 4 times.
Hey, couple minutes plus a couple laps here. He could be on his way to the record book, being the overall winner here at the Hangtown Classic. One of the longest running motocross races here in the U.S.
Absolutely. Blake Baggett pulling away now from Rancho. You kind of had a feeling that once he got some running room, he would be able to put some distance between himself, but any mistake and Rancho can get him back. There's still enough time, 2 minutes and 2 laps.
Baggett turned a 2:17 last lap. Rattray was a 2:19.9, so basically a 2:20. That was about a 3-second swing there for Baggett that time. But he also, you can see the blue flags waving, and some of the lapped riders in the line here. And if these guys are riding in the fast line and it doesn't allow Blake to ride the lines that he wants, that's when a rider like Rattray, if he still keeps charging, keeps pushing and doesn't give up on it, can close it back up and maybe capitalize on Baggett being in the lapped riders.
A couple of days ago, talked to David Pingree, who used to ride for this team and actually wore the number 57. And he said he had some inside information that when the Pro Circuit team was out testing, every single time Blake Baggett was putting in the fastest lap, someone would raise the mark, he would go back out and beat it. He predicted that this guy would take the win, and so far so good for Baggett. The team kind of sensed it. Very impressive. So as he pulls away from Rattray and Wilson is in third, it could be a podium sweep for the Monster Pro Circuit team. But with all the credentials of Rattray, all the credentials of Wilson, and Brock Tickle, who we haven't seen much of the Supercross Championship, it's maybe the forgotten rider on the team, Baggett, who might lead them all the way to the finish.
He's on his way.
Pulling away down the stretch. We'll be back with more. Try to give you some highlights of past races here at Hangtown. Wednesday, Car Science breaks down the technology and science of what moves you. It's a high-octane half hour of cold, hard facts that'll blow your mind. Car Science, Wednesday at 10 Eastern on Speed. 40th season of AMA Motocross. All year long, we're going to highlight some great stories from the history of this great sport. Today, a story from three-time 125 champ Mark Barnett.
The National Series always opened with the Hangtown Classic in Plymouth, California. A long way from Chicago when you're 16, too long for mothers and their kids' favorite music.
We loaded up the van and me and Mom drove all the way to Hangtown from Chicago.
Mark had to have his music.
Had it to the floor all the way, listening to 40 hours of Jimi Hendrix and eating ham sandwiches.
For 45 hours, I had to listen to Jimi Hendrix. I didn't think I ever wanted to hear that man sing again.
Hey, that's music to the ears of Jeff Emig.
You gotta love it. The purple haze just...
Whew, you probably wish you had driven to the races yourself so you had more time to listen to your own tapes.
Hey, I drove in a box van, unlike the young kids here like Baggett. He's been flying, working out of semis and 18-wheelers the whole time. Just... They have no idea what it's like to work out of a box van at a national.
I knew we'd get some sort of young kids comment.
Look who's getting lapped. Just a Barsha.
Race, yeah. And Barsha, we can tell you, is in 18th place. Led this race early on, so that is a major, major loss of points.
And up from last place, Muscan.
What?
Up to 6th place at the moment. And he's got Swanepoel in his sights. He's not far behind him.
That is unbelievable. 6th place after starting this one on the ground in last.
Well, that's an indicator that the KTM rider from France probably has a good chance of running with these leaders here if he starts with them, right? So gaining some experience, but this is a confidence booster here because first moto, we heard Baggett actually said that he fell. And that's why he got kicked back so far, and he rode up to the front of the pack, up to the leaders way at the end, and this time he didn't wait till the last lap to put his charge on. He's done it with a few laps to go, put himself in a position now to go 2-1, 47 points on the day, give him the overall and the points lead to start the series up.
Be the first ever AMA Motocross win for Blake Baggett. First time he's ever been in the points lead. And what a great journey it has been for his parents. I don't know if they had to listen to Led Zeppelin or Jimi Hendrix through the years, but you know the family well.
Yeah, I'm sure
They've put it in. They probably did, as a matter of fact.
Classic rock
there. But that family's put a lot of miles on the road getting their kid to amateur races and basically making this dream come true.
I've known Blake since he was just a little guy. He used to ride motorcycles with his uncle. I've known his parents forever. And I remember all through his amateur career, the family was so dedicated to amateur motocross here in the U.S. And Blake is one of those riders that has done the whole program, all the way through. And it's a proud moment to see him have this sort of rides and this sort of results. Pretty cool.
Yeah, 10 years ago was the first time I ever went to the big amateur national at Red Lynn Ranch, and the Kawasaki people were like, we got this kid on a 65cc motorcycle named Blake Baggett. Watch him.
Yeah.
10 years later, it's paid off.
Yeah, and his uncle, we used to call him Skeeter. And I'm thinking we may have to start calling him, even though it's his uncle, calling him Little Skeeter.
Little Skeeter.
Or something. Yeah, he definitely needs a nickname because we're going to be talking about this kid a lot this year.
Well, the 57 should be #1 today if he can hang on for a few more corners. And when we go to our second round in Texas next weekend, he will wear the ceremonial red plate. Replace the black backgrounds behind the number with red because he will be your series points leader. And it seems like an annual ritual where we talk about the amazing rides for this Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki team. They are 1, 2, 3 in this moto. But passing his teammates, working his way to the front, Blake Baggett. Yeah, well done, you think?
Wow.
What a statement. Blake Baggett wins Hangtown. Incredible. And look at the lead he ended up with Rattray. Once he got clear track, this thing was over. Put it on ice. We'll wait for Rattray to come around. Here he is. Good run for Rattray. He'll have a 5th and a 2nd on the day. So he's right there in the championship.
13-second lead over Rattray, and Wilson still has a quarter of the lap to go.
Yeah, well, Wilson got, it could have been worse. He did tangle over the hay bale and go down. Luckily, he was able to only lose 1 spot, so
yeah,
solid points for him.
Yeah, that's an incredible ride to come back after that fall, because at that point, your body just totally wants to, this is Barsha. He's completely, well, he was lapped.
Yeah, so Barsha way back. That's not where he wanted to be. He's 18th. Meanwhile, the 15 of Wilson will take 3rd of the moto. He won the first race earlier today. So really, if you're on Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki and your name is Blake Baggett, Tyler Rancho, or Dean Wilson, you're happy. We'll be right back. Well, Northern California motocross fans, they got to watch some great racing today. And if for some reason you missed it all, we can show you exactly what went down with our race recap. And a banner day for the Kawasaki boys. Lucas Oil bringing the recap here. Justin Barsha was out front early, the number 17 Geico Honda. But he was under some serious pressure, and then he made a big mistake here, Jeff.
Huge mistake, handstand over the bars as he catches a tough block, and really his day, his moto just went downhill quick, and then Wilson makes a similar mistake. He gets into a tough block in a similar area of the track. He was able to remount and hold his position, but that cost him the overall right there.
So battle for the lead is on between Tyler Rattray and Blake Baggett. And Baggett kept trying, and then finally found the room in that corner to take the lead. And then he pulled away from there. 13 seconds with the final margin of victory. This kid's on fire. Show you the results. A couple other riders we want to mention. Eli Tomac, 53 seconds back at the end of that one in 4th. Probably not happy about that. Gareth Swanepoel, great ride for top 5.
And I'm telling you, 6th, Marvin Muscan from France. He was down in the 2nd turn all the way up to 6th. This kid's got some heart, he's got some speed, and he will be there throughout the rest of this championship.
Well, we know where Erin Bates is going to be. She's on podium. Erin.
Very impressive ride for Blake Baggett. Blake, only your 4th outdoor ever of your career, and you walk away from Hangtown with taking the overall win. What is this moment like for you?
Yeah, it's definitely really good. You know, last year I ended up getting hurt, so I couldn't ride on pretty much all the races. But you know, I went back home, got my arm fixed, got to ride with Mitch Payton. I got to give it up to him. Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Thor, Parts Unlimited, Scott, Volcom, Vans, Dunlop, everybody. My mom, my dad, my girlfriend, Mitch, especially. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be up here.
Coming into today, when I asked you who you thought were going to be your biggest competitors, you had said to me it was going to be your teammates. That was proven here today. What do you go home and work on now?
You know, I just need to work on my starts. I came around, I think, 5th, 6th, both motos. So just need to go back, work on my starts, and sprinting right off the bat. I'm good towards the end of the moto, but I really need to work on the beginning. But, you know, I'm pumped. I think all of us maybe went 1, 2, 3, so that's cool.
Congratulations on a job well done.
Give the upcoming schedule, the next set of races that this Pro Circuit team will try to sweep the podium on. We'll be feeling the heat next week in Texas. We check out the Toyota moving forward schedule for the series, and we'll cover that one May 28th at 11 p.m. Eastern on Speed. It's off the hills of Mount Morris, Pennsylvania on June 11th, 10 p.m. Eastern. Then it's Budds Creek, the hills of Maryland, in Mechanicsville, 11 p.m. Eastern on June 18th. And then it will be a mile high up outside of Denver, Thunder Valley in Lakewood, Colorado on June 26th. Run the gauntlet in this series. Every type of weather and soil condition you can imagine, these guys are going to have to face it. So just because Baggett won today does not necessarily mean it's going to happen all season long. That's why you got to keep watching every single round of this championship. Stay with us.
Speed is home to the roughest racing in NASCAR. It's edge of your seat excitement. Catch the NASCAR County World Truck Series all season long, live on Speed. Jarrett, Petty, Allison, Moore, and Pearson are enshrined. The 2011 NASCAR Hall of Fame induction ceremony, live Monday at 8 Eastern, exclusively on Speed.
Welcome back to Geico Radio. It's savings on the radio.
Call us, Steve. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I just got a free rate quote on Geico.com. Saved a ton, and it only took me 5.
All right, we are back here in the hills of Northern California, just outside of Sacramento. Lots of fans still here, and they got to see some great racing. Here are your overall results for the day. You add up the points. Blake Baggett has it. Dean Wilson, Tyler Rattray, 3 Kawasaki riders. They sweep the podium. Marvin Muscan, who had some bad luck today, still salvages a 5th. Garrett Swanepoel, 6th.
Yeah, and so DNA Shred 6 Yamaha, 6th and 7th overall. They're starting to creep up in there to put some pressure on these other top teams.
Darren Durham in the top 10. He's a privateer, doesn't have the support from the big OEM manufacturers. Finishes 8th. Let's go down to Aaron.
It was going all right for Dean Wilson when he was sitting in 2nd place, and then you ended up getting tangled up with that hay bale. Dean, what happened from your perspective?
Yeah, you know, I was in 2nd trying to catch Tyler, and, you know, I was just coming up the hill, and I knew Blake was, you know, coming for me, and went up, and once I got to the top, my front wheel just washed out, and, you know, once it hooked up, it sent me right into the hay bales and knocked down a couple of photographers, and a bit disappointed, I mean, because I wasn't expecting to come in with a win, and then when you come in with a win, you want to win again, and had the overall in my hands at that point, but it wasn't going to be easy with Blake behind me, but yeah, I had a few sketchy moments out there, but I was giving it 100%, and that's all you can ask.
Dean, take us through the crash, and exactly did you experience any injury at all, or was it just a matter of getting your bike upright?
No, I'm good. I mean, it's just, you know, once I got up, I was lucky enough to be in 3rd still, and, you know, I didn't get past or nothing except from Blake. So, you know, I really can't complain too much. I'm 100%. I'm good. You know, I'd just like to thank everybody. Monster Pro Motocross Kawasaki, Thor, Dunlop, my mechanic Paul, Toyo Vescandito for my truck, Vans, everybody else. Thank you.
Good job, well done today.
Fuel your passion for motorcycle racing with Speed Motorcycle Text Alerts by Yamaha. Get the latest moto racing results and breaking news as soon as they become available, sent right to your phone. Text MOTO to Speed 3 for the alerts. Do it right now. Let's go back to the podium with Aaron and our 3rd place finisher.
Tyler definitely had his hands full with teammates around you, but Tyler, you've got to be pretty excited about the outcome of your first race back, especially how you were telling me earlier that this track and you just didn't vibe.
Yeah, definitely. It was a tough race. The track got really rough and made it hard. You had to get into a good rhythm, which I did, and Blake managed to pass me with like 4 laps to go. So he was riding really good, and I just want to thank all the guys from Monster Pro Kawasaki, Barton, Thor, Vans, Volcom, Tracks, just everyone. Thank you.
How difficult was it to make a pass today with different line choices, not only lappers included, but also how much the track had deteriorated?
It made it tough. It was, you had to really take your time to pass someone and set it up. And but all in all, it was a good day for our team. I'm really pumped for them, and we went 1, 2, 3, so it was awesome.
Got some upcoming races. Next week we'll be in Freestone, Texas, which I bet you will probably be in the 90-degree range, so it'll be a true test for the riders. That'll be Saturday, May 28th. Our 250 class Moto 2 coverage on Speed at 11 Eastern time, 8 p.m. Pacific. So, Jeff Emig, let's talk a little bit about this. So many contenders that we highlighted at the beginning of the show. I don't know how many people were counting on this type of performance from Blake Baggett. A lot of established champions, but he beat them all today.
Yeah, he definitely showed that he is ready for this championship. And I tell you, the fans had just a beautiful day of racing 2 years in a row here at Hangtown.
Let's talk to their team manager at Pro Circuit. Aaron's got Mitch Payton.
That's right, Mitch. What a day it was for you. What a start to the season. Take us through the excitement and your thoughts looking forward.
No, it was awesome. I mean, everybody was up front, you know, like Blake rode an awesome race today, you know, with falling down the first moto and coming through. That was awesome. Dean rode really good, good speed out of him. Tyler, the first moto with a 5th and then leading the whole time. A little bit more out, you know, last part of the moto, and he would have been good. And then, you know, Brock had an off day, but fell down the first moto and had a little bit of problem the second, but we'll be good. I'm pumped.
Congratulations on the green sweep.
Yeah, I bet he's pumped. Well done, boys. For Aaron Bates and Jeff Emming, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for joining us. And a big congratulations. Dean Wilson wins our first moto today, goes down in Moto 2. Then Blake Baggett makes a move on Tyler Rattray to grab the lead, and that would be enough to not only win the second moto today, but win the overall. So, in a field full of riders coming off momentum from Supercross, riders from overseas, the young kid from California takes the win. Congratulations, Blake Baggett.